welcome back to Métropole Grid. My name is Andre.
I'm Patrick.
And thanks so much for tuning in. It's a surprise Saturday stream. I've actually said this
I'm surprised.
I said this one was coming for a bit, so it's not a huge surprise, but this is a bit of a weird stream.
Yep.
I'm going to say off the top, this is not a Netrunner stream. We're going to be playing something entirely different. It is a cyberpunk card game that we have minimal experience with, but we're giving it a shot. We'll talk about that more in a second, but if you're looking for Netrunner, that'll be a different stream. We'll be back on Tuesday.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Welcome.
I'm excited. Thank you.
Yeah, this is, I guess we should just talk about what we're doing right now. So one of these buttons should do it. This is...
Hi, Jai. We're about to explain what in the goddamn we have to...
Hey, how's it going, Jai? Hey,
give us a second, Jai.
Surprise Saturday stream. Hey, CB, how's it going? Yeah, so this is a new game. It's technically not out yet, but we're going to be showing you what it looks like.
Yeah. It's on Kickstarter. It's something that they're currently being crowdfunded.
For 4 more days.
4 more days. We're under the wire.
We're really like sneaking it in here.
No one goes under the wires like hackers.
Oh my God. This is Neuroscape TCG. It's a collectible card game. I can't show you the card back, but this is what like the brand looks like. If you search Neuroscape just like that, you'll find it. And we're going to be playing some of it today. We have 2 demo decks. I think I need to say some caveats on the top. Is this sponsored? Not Never End stream. So this is not a sponsored stream. I will say some things off the top. So firstly, this is a card game that's currently on Kickstarter. It started at the beginning of May. It's going to be done by basically the end of the month. So there's not that much more time left if you want to back it. I'm not sure if it'll be available outside of Kickstarter. I really hope it does because I'm not a big Kickstarter fan in general. But regardless, I got an email a couple months ago from the 2 nice guys who make this game, and they said like, hey, we know you do like cyberpunk card game stuff. Do you want to try this out? We'll send you some demo decks free of charge. It's not sponsored. You don't have to bring them out on stream. You don't have to say anything.
No strings attached, eh?
No strings attached. Specifically was the word used, which is a suspicious sentence sometimes.
Yeah, okay.
But that was actually the case. And I honestly I was like, yeah, okay, sure, I'll check it out. This is like a magic type game. So we're going to play people on the table and we're going to reduce our health down to 0. You know, there's a lot of games like that. So
some dude bashing.
Yeah, dude bashing, exactly. My expectations weren't particularly high, but they made it as easy as possible to try it out. And try it out I did. And so the cards came in. It came in a really nice production. And I played it with Maddie and we played a bunch of games. And we actually ended up playing more games and liking it more than we thought we would. So I emailed them back to be like, actually, no, I kind of like this. I'm excited to do a stream. This is not sponsored. They have no say in what we say about this sort of stuff. But just to be clear off the top, this is not a sponsored stream. This is just to show off a card game that will be interesting to look at and think about when it comes to like cyberpunk card games and stuff like that. Because I have no doubt we're all interested in the same sort of idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the elephant maybe in the room is this is a trading card game.
Hang on, I have an elephant
in my room, in your deck. So that means that you're opening boosters and there's that sort of like, what is it called? What's the term for it? Scarcity, kind of creative scarcity.
Artificial scarcity.
Artificial scarcity, yeah.
Secondary market, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that game will have that sort of thing going on, where there's cards that are harder to get than others, there might be an aftermarket, and you don't know what you're buying unless you buy a demo deck. And I think that's a really important thing. As a TCG, I'm not into any TCGs. I really am not. There's a lot of card games that I wish weren't TCGs because I think their gameplay is fantastic, but the TCG model keeps them out of that. Shout out to Flesh and Blood. I'm going to pre-release next weekend. Game's fantastic, but the TCG version of that game means I cannot participate in it. It just costs way too much money. Don't like what it does. This is probably going to be a bit more affordable than that, but in terms of a TCG, yes, many people who are watching this is strictly a non-starter, and for myself as well, that's kind of the case. That being said, on the Kickstarter, they have these demo duel decks, which is largely what we're playing. We are playing it's the hackers versus the what are they called exactly? Cybernetics.
Yeah.
So this demo deck, which is probably of a lower power value, probably isn't a good representation of what like constructed Neuroscape TCG will look like in a couple months. This has just still been fun enough that I'm down to play games with this. But again, if you're tuning in and hear TCG and then you don't like that, I get it. I'm not a big TCG fan, but this as like a pre-constructed game is great. I don't know if it will support sealed. I don't know if it supports draft. I don't know the deck building rules when it comes to that, but that is a caveat that we have to get over on the top for sure. I saw this on Blue Sky. Oh, cool. Hey, Phil, how's it going? I really enjoyed this game. Glad to see they've reached... Yeah, they were really nice, too. Like, they've been really easy to talk with. I asked rules questions. I gave technically some suggestions, too, for what it's worth, but they've been really nice to work with. Another thing to shout out, too, which is maybe a bit of a red flag to many, is that if you look up Neuroscape TCG and you find they have their own, like, Netrunner DB equivalent on their website, which shows a bunch of their old cards.
Cool.
All that art is AI art. And for me, that's also a strict non-starter. Do not like AI art at all, but this game has actually been in alpha for over a year. It might have been longer. They've been working on this for a long time.
Yeah.
And so their AI art that was used on their like testing product that they used internally to test, and they brought in people to test and do tournaments, all that sort of stuff. With this set, they said, okay, we're done with all that sort of stuff. That was just for testing. And we've now commissioned artists to produce art for the 250 some odd cards that are in this first set.
And some familiar artists, actually.
Yes, and that's actually really exciting because not only is the art really good, but you actually see some artists that work on Netrunner, currently on NSG Netrunner.
I'm looking at Matthias Kalza right here.
What's the name of the card?
This is Synthetics, the mainframe for the cybernetics.
Yeah.
Focusing. Well, you'll bring it up.
I'll bring it up, yeah. So there's a lot of artists that you actually, well, I think Kalza might be the only artist that I've seen that branches between this game and current Netrunner. But I also think there's a lot of artists here that NSG could reach out to, because they do fantastic work. But anyways, in terms of the AI art, that's all gone. That was only for testing, and now they're commissioning artists to do the work, and it's been really quite good. That's pretty sick.
Yep.
Respectable. Hey, Tron.
Hey.
Who's Corp and wait, hold on.
John.
You didn't get any stuff from Hub World Eidolon people, right? SMH? Honestly, yeah, no. And like, I don't know what the grind is meant to be for an influencer, because we don't honestly do stuff like this on the channel. So if you tune in and think like this is gauche, I hear you. But we just wanted to play a different game for a second.
We do have access to those decks.
Oh yeah, you do have the Hub World decks.
Yeah, we could play those one of these days, but I think I'd be more interested in getting like maybe Earthborn stuff.
Yeah, that's true. That's coming out, I think, this summer, if I'm not mistaken. Anyways, I think those are my big caveats to go over. So it is a TCG. The Kickstarter is up if you want to buy the pre-constructed dual decks. So the decks that Pat and I are playing today, you can grab them. I think it's like 40 American for the dual deck.
I think it's 39 American to buy a dual deck. Yeah. And there's 3 different like dual deck products you can buy.
Cool. So we've only seen 2 of them.
So 6 different factions matched differently.
I'm assuming you can buy them all a carte. Maybe you can't. You don't have a lot of time. I'm assuming this will exist outside of Kickstarter after. They're widely already funded, so it's not like they need this to like get this out there. We waited pretty long. Mind you, Elevation came out about a month ago. I did not want to do this while Elevation was new and fresh and hot, but as much as it still is.
Thank you, Phil.
Gauche is left in English for the non-Quebecois. Thank you. Yes, very, very good. Pat, I've played a couple games of this. You've played one game against me really quickly, and I did not a great job teaching the rules. So
no.
Oh, thank you.
No, he didn't do a good job, folks.
So we're gonna do a couple games of this, and we're gonna run through the rules and do a teach. As much as teaching live is a bit stressful, and I don't know this game as well as I know Netrunner, but we'll do an adequate job. If you're watching in the chat, please ask questions. If you know the game better than I do and I have any mistakes, please correct that. This game has a lot of terminology, just like Netrunner does, where they call certain things specifically other things. So it's not a deck, it's a cyber deck, right? You have your RAM bank as your area.
And we can't complain about that because we play Netrunner, and we're the bigger perpetrators of that.
Yeah, we're definitely like, that is something that's just kind of par for the course. Why I bring that up is that there's a big chance I won't say the right term for something. Like in theory, a lot of people say like, oh, that's an exhausted card or a tapped card. In theory, it could be a run card in this game. So if I get any of the terminology slightly wrong, hopefully at least the mechanics are accurate. Sponsored? Not at all, Matthias. We're just doing this for fun. There's no sponsorship at all. I have to be very clear if this is sponsored, I'm pretty sure, because of the rules. It'd have to say like #ad somewhere. This is not sponsored at all. We got these decks for free, but we should
say bad things about it on purpose every now and then, just to make sure people understand.
Yeah, clearly where we stand on this. Can't see the other guy. There's Andre and some ghostly ethereal light emanating from the right side of my screen while I'm bathed in its glory. I somehow feel at ultimate peace. I cannot make Pat look less glowy than he is. It's quite nice. He's a bit warm.
I'm not sure if this is my best angle though. I think if I'm like barreling the camera, I think that's my best.
You barrel pretty good. All right, so let's talk about this game. So this game is functionally a dude basher. Netrunner is very special. The 7-point agendas, all that sort of stuff. You can flatline someone.
Hey, one of these days you should just teach me Netrunner on stream.
Yeah,
I actually think that might be fun.
That should happen. Yeah, that definitely should happen. So this game is about reducing your opponent's health points to 0, like many games. However, kind of. So as you see next to our images here, there is 2 trackers, and you technically have 2 different health pools. This kind of mimics meat damage and net damage in Netrunner. One of them is your bioframe. This represents your physical flesh and blood. This is your body getting beat up. And the other one is called the mainframe, which is kind of akin to net damage. So this is like your rig, your computer, your like cyberspace entity, whatever that is. That's gonna be the sort of net damage you take. Now, when you take damage, that number goes down. I haven't seen any healing in this game so far, so there's no way to bring the number up, if I'm not mistaken, from what I've seen. But if any of these 2 hit 0, you lose the game. Now, it's not if both, it's if any. And the way that this deck is structured is I'm playing the hackers. That's one of the factions. You're playing the synthetics. That's another faction. The cybernetics. Cybernetics seemingly only do physical damage. I only do net damage. So that is going to mean that one of your other stats might not matter, one of your other health pools. Technically, there are ways that you can take other kinds of damage. I'm not sure when you play constructed or sealed or whatever this game turns out to be, whether you want to build a deck that has a mixed damage. I'm assuming you want to specialize, but I guess there could be cards that only do physical damage that work really well with your deck, so you'll play them anyways, even if you're a net damage deck.
Yeah.
But in short, if any of those numbers hit 0, you are cooked. That's how you lose the game. This is kind of dude bashery. Now, the coolest thing about this game that really impressed me is that the sort of mana, the energy system. We see a lot of modern games like Star Wars Unlimited, like Larcana, that the way that they have energy or that you get that sort of ramping power is that you don't have mana cards in your deck, but basically any card you can put face down in front of you and that becomes sort of like a mana.
Yeah.
That's how Star Wars does it. That's how Larcana does it.
The Call of Cthulhu LCG did that the same way or something
I've never played that one. I really want to play that one.
I think I played it once.
Oh, cool.
Maybe on TTS.
So we all start with a deck of 25 cards. These are called your RAM deck. And currently in this deck, these are just 25 identical cards. There's no reason to shuffle this deck. In theory, you're meant to shuffle the deck. I do think in more intricate deck construction, you're allowed to have 5 advanced RAM cards, so shuffling this deck actually does matter. But in short, all of these cards are a card that represents 1 RAM, which is kind of like 1 mana in this game. What you're gonna be doing is in your RAM deck, which is separate than your cyber deck, which is the cards that you play that do game things, is that you're gonna be putting your RAM on your table, and then to play cards, you're gonna be running your RAM. That is the idea. At the beginning of your next turn, you will ready all your RAM. So that is kind of the idea that every turn you can add a couple pieces of RAM, and then you can spend that RAM to play cards. To show you what a card looks like, this is a very simple idea of a card and very, I think on the nose for what I do, because I'm doing a lot of burst damage. This is Overload Mark 1, and you notice this is a program. A program, or I think what we should focus on, in the top left corner, that's the cost. So it says 1 and then it has that symbol for RAM, which means if I want to play Overload Mark 1, I have to run 1 RAM to play this program, and then the program does its program thing. Another really important thing that shows up on a couple cards, but not everywhere, is that in the top right corner, it's pretty small. You'll see the symbol of a hacker. That is the hacker faction symbol. And it says Rec, which means I need to have 1 hacker symbol on the table to be able to play this. It's a faction requirement. It's more of a deck building thing. And I currently start with no hacker symbols on the table, but if I have at least 1 character or 1 card on the table with a hacker symbol, now I'm allowed to play that. You probably have a couple. I think I only noticed on my side, you might have some requirement cards. Maybe you don't. You might not.
Yeah, I've got Kiwi Crush as a requirement card.
Oh, cool.
Some of them have colors. Yeah, I guess we don't know what the colors really mean yet.
What colors?
Like Kiwi Crush is pink and green.
Yeah.
Which are 2 colors that typically mean to me like this.
I think these are the Kiwi Crush colors.
I think this is Kiwi Crush colors. Yeah,
What's the full name of Kiwi Crush?
Megaroids.
Megaroids, okay. I can search it like that. Yeah, that's Megaroids. So it's pink and green. I honestly think that's just flavor. I can't figure out why that would actually be pink and green.
I like that.
Okay, anyways, that's a basic idea that when you want to play cards, you pay the cost of RAM. At the beginning of your next turn, you ready all your RAM. That's straightforward. However, characters are totally different. Characters work in a cool way. So this is what a character looks like. It says character on it, and it still has a cost. But when you want to play a character, you don't run RAM. They actually take the RAM and put it underneath them. So this is a cool system because I can play expensive people, but then it actually shrinks my RAM pool, so then I can't play spells on top of it. So playing a 4-cost character slows you down for a bit. Now what's really important is when this character is destroyed, the character goes into your discard pile, it has a name, and then your RAM returns to you RAM for that turn. But that is the idea that your RAM, your energy, kind of like scales in and out through the game. If I pay a big threat, that means I will have no mana pool functionally for the next turn. And that system I actually found to be incredibly interesting and entertaining and has this natural swing back and forth in terms of like fixing mana screw, but in terms of like having the sort of fluidity and ebbs and flows. That has been kind of rad, and I've actually enjoyed that a fair bit more than I thought I would. Let's talk about admin. So firstly, characters in the bottom left corner, you'll see 2 numbers. The bottom number is their health or their toughness. I think they call it health, defense, whatever. You know what I mean. Okay. So if this ever takes 1 damage, it's destroyed. It goes into the bin.
And it does 1 damage back to whoever's interacting with it.
This part might be a bit of an issue. The top number, that blue number, that means when this character attacks, and we'll talk about attacking, it'll do 1 damage. And the color of the number is what kind of damage it'll do to you. Because this is blue, it'll do mainframe damage, which is your sort of net damage. I don't think there's any way to tell whether a card does blue or red damage if you can't see color.
I've been wondering about that. I have a lot of colorblind gamers in my life. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, this is a no-go.
I wish it had a symbol for that. That's going to be a problem. Can I actually see one of your characters? All your characters, for instance, do physical damage. So if you just tell me the name. Yeah, Virtual Kid.
There's a Virtual Kid.
This is another Matthew Kalza, if I'm not mistaken. So this one has a red. Again, hopefully you see color. It's unfortunately like 1 in 12 men do not have some sort of color blindness. So I don't know, at least our decks are coded to the point that you're not gonna be stressed about it. But when it comes to constructed, I feel like that's gonna be an issue. But this card will do 1 damage to your main frame. Your cards will do damage to my bio frame. Makes sense?
Yep.
Notice this card too on the bottom right has an icon. Actually, that's yours, so I'll pull up admin. So this icon means that it is a hacker card, and that means when this hits the table, I will currently have one hacker loyalty or whatever it's called. So if I have any card that requires me to have a hacker card to play it, I have a hacker card.
Oh, I see. And some of mine have dual loyalty,
Yes.
like a Freya Rogue Valkyrie has looks like the cybernetics and
I think they're called Thrashers. They're like
Thrashers.
kind of like anarcho-punk kind of
I think Iron Maiden is a Thrasher for
Yeah.
sure. She's got the double horns.
Yeah, that's the double horns. Live on a Sunday. How's it going, Zen? Ram Ranch. Is there such a cool thing as a cool TCG? The thing is, like, there's a lot of TCGs that have really good games. But
Yeah.
the TCG model is always like a really hard sell for
Like
me.
I tried Altered, one of the new ones.
Oh,
But
yeah,
that one,
cool.
like the cool thing, like Altered has an interesting game, but the cool selling point about it is the way it manipulates people, and I think that's just kind of gross.
With its like individuality of cards and the sort of like
Yeah, like there's a chase element of like just trying to
Yeah.
find the one like kind of I guess keyforgified card in a
because they mutate, right?
yeah, there's some cards that are mutated and then are unique across the entirety of the game's pool.
Yeah.
But you don't know if the one you're getting is going to be a good one. Anyway, it's
It's weird.
yeah, TCGs, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of baggage attached to that.
Kickstarter, 4 days left.
4 days left.
Not sponsored though.
Not sponsored. All right, so you notice on admin too, and maybe I'm putting the cart in front of the horse here. This has an ability on it, and a lot of cards have abilities. I don't think there's any cards in this deck, which is kind of surprising for a starter deck that are just vanilla, like stat monsters. These all have text. And so these all have abilities, and the abilities usually have that arrow, that sort of like reverse subroutine arrow. That means to do that, you have to exhaust the character.
Fair.
Cool.
Yeah.
Or run them, I think. Maybe not the term. Now this one index, notice how it says to ram and run. That means you have to play to ram and run it, and then you get to do the ability on the card. Notably, you can only run a card, exhaust it, if it's not exhausted. So for instance, when we talk about attacking with the tagger exhausts the card, so then I can't do it again. Abilities on cards, you can only use once per round. So that is from the start of my turn to the start of my next turn. But also, and this will come back, and this is really important, next to the index ability, you see those like 3 chevron arrows?
Yeah.
That means that this is a fast ability. So you can do this at functionally every paid ability window in the game. The rule book currently, the 8.0 rule book, which is the one online, is structured more like a learn to play document than like a crunchy rules thing. It's definitely going to be iterated on. I know there's already some suggestions of things to work on. Currently, when you can use abilities, I'm only like 80% sure how it works. It seems to suggest, I know guaranteed, is that we're going to come up to these things called swift checks, and there's these fast windows during the timing structure where you can use these. I'm also like 90% sure you can always just use these during your deploy phase, which is the phase where you play cards whenever you want. And whenever you do an ability, it opens up a window so people can respond. This game does have a lot of like, oh, a window opens, you do something, I do something, you do something, and they make a stack. Last in, first out. It's called the cache. Oh, he's yawning through the stairs.
What do you want me to do? It's 1:06 p.m. I'm in a
sun is out.
I'm in a sunbeam. Let me know.
All right. Anyways, the point is, this does have a lot of like really cool tricks that cares about paid ability, window priority, and I actually like how the paid ability stuff works out. Tagger is an interesting card as well because this card at instant speed can tap itself to give it a 1/1 counter on itself or any other card of the hacker faction. This is a really cool ability because of the timing. If you try to do 1 damage to it, I can respond to give it a +1/+1 counter, and then it survives and life goes on. So
maybe even damage the attacking character enough to destroy it or something like that.
Exactly. So you can do some really cool tricks at the paid ability window speed. That part of this game tickled me. My deck is all about paid ability speed. Your deck is all about big guy hit hard. So that is, the natural natural fight we have to fight.
The booba to your kiki.
I still don't know what that means.
And we'll never explain it.
Cool.
The chat
Anyways,
is loving it.
that is characters. So characters, again, will have the RAM underneath them. When a character is destroyed, as I said, the RAM goes back to your RAM bank, but it is ran. I think the last time we played, we did not do that correctly. The RAM comes in a ran. That is actually important.
Yeah, we definitely didn't do it correctly, but that's good to know.
You are technically allowed at the start of your turn, and we'll go over the timing structure. You can, at the beginning of your turn, during your upkeep phase, you can force quit any of your characters or programs. If you force quit the tagger, you're just saying, I'm deleting this tagger, and you get the RAM back, but the RAM is ready. So you're allowed to always change.
Okay, so if I force quit, I get fresh RAM.
But if your character is destroyed in any other way, you do not get the fresh RAM.
Right, it's not like you can then use that RAM to then like blast me back or something. Yeah.
That's actually really cool. So that's how characters work. These are tiny weeny characters. There's some really big characters. You have big old elephant in your deck. We have a lot of singletons. A lot of the rare cards in these decks are one-ofs. You don't have that much card draw in this deck. Like I've only played a couple games, but I've never drawn more than like 12 cards. The games are relatively fast, but it's not like Flesh and Blood where you go through your whole deck or Marvel Champions or whatever. Cool. Other cards. We have spells. Spells are pretty straightforward. I'm sorry, spells mean program.
Yeah, they're called programs.
I'm talking like a Magic player. I've played like a dozen games of Magic in my life, so this is Deja Vu. And this is a program. So program is a type of card, and then there's many kinds of subtypes of programs. EXEs are the most straightforward. This is Deja Vu. It costs a lot. It basically gives you another turn after you take some amount of damage. This you play during your main phase, your deploy phase. So if I play Deja Vu, it's not a fast card. Notice there's no speed arrows on it. So you just like go. Cool. Then you do its thing. It goes into your bin after it fires.
Yep.
Make sense?
Yep.
Another thing is these are quick programs. So like delete, for instance, I think we both have a delete. It's a pretty neutral card. It's expensive, but it just says destroy target.
I've got antivirus, which is kind of similar.
Yep. So this card costs 4, again. So you have to run 4 RAM. You don't have to put the RAM underneath it because it's not a character. And in the bottom left corner, this is a script, and scripts are the fast programs. And because this has 3 fast arrows, this means you can do it at any quick check, and you can do it during any sort of like paid ability fight. So if I do something, you do something, I do something, you can end with a delete. And hopefully that will solve everything. Because again, it goes in terms of the cache, the last thing on the cache is the first thing that resolves, and then resolves downwards.
And it could neutralize anything that follows.
Exactly. So if something fails to fizzle because it misses this target, it just fails to
So
fire.
even a fast ability on a character like Tagger is on the stack.
Oh yeah.
So I could delete Tagger, and then Tagger's ability does not fire to prevent another character from...
Unless I use a second tagger to respond to that, to put a
second
counter to protect the first tagger.
All right.
And now we're talking. So that's really cool. So there's fast spells and there's slow spells. There is a spell called an environment. I think that's what we're called. We both have one of these. Environments, it's kind of like lands, not lands. Are they called that lands maybe?
Enchantments?
In Yu-Gi-Oh! So they basically go between the players, kind of like a current, and it impacts both of us. I'm allowed to force quit my environment whenever I want to. If you play an environment, it deletes my environment. So I have environments that are good for programs. You have environments that are good for people getting hit in the head. So that is a bit of a current type war for Netrunner players. These cards look much cooler and more cyberpunk than the game I play. It has like a different vibe. It has this sort of like cyberpunk 2077, sort of like neon grit vibe.
Yeah, which it's grimier. It's all at night. Also.
It's almost all at night. And I want to be very clear. I appreciate this. It also makes me appreciate that Netrunner does it differently and has a different cyberpunk look. And I think there's a lot of space for both of them. I want to be very clear. This art is giving me Compile vibes. Yeah,
for sure. I feel like it's got the same kind of aesthetic.
But like, what's so cool is to see artists that do Netrunner art, that do also TCG, Neuroscape TCG art, and to see how they've worked with a different tone. Because there's artists that do the both. You'll see them.
And like we said, like a lot of these could easily work with null signal.
Yes, I'd be excited. Okay, a cool thing that I do, I have these cards called Trojans, and this is one that I'll tell you exists because knowing it exists is really important. If you've ever played Hearthstone, there are these things called secrets. Secrets are cards that all cost 2 to play, same in Hearthstone as is here, except instead of showing you what this is like a trap card, I will just attach it to your mainframe. Notice I haven't brought up your mainframe yet. We'll talk about that in a second. This is kind of like your identity card. It's not incredibly important in these 2 demo decks we have. I think other decks actually use them more. But when I play a Trojan, I have to run 2 RAM because they all cost 2, and I put them here, and your mainframe can hold 3 slots. They give you this reminder card just so that you don't forget there's a Trojan there.
It can host 3 slots.
Yeah, apparently there's a slot above, to left, and to the right.
I see. Okay.
So those can hold any cards that say attached to your mainframe or attached to your opponent's mainframe. If your mainframe is all slotted up, you can't attach more cards unless it's one of your cards that start a turn, you can force delete one of your cards. But if I put a bunch of Trojans in your mainframe and I don't fire the Trojans, they'll be stuck there forever. However, I will fire the Trojans. So there's this reminder card to remind you there's a Trojan in play. And what Trojans do is they're basically trap cards that they fire under certain conditions. Some Trojan cards fire for free. This Trojan card costs 2 more RAM to fire, and I can activate it. It's a fast ability, so you can do it at any fast window and respond to it. This one just says destroy all attacking characters.
Okay, so it costs you 2 because
play.
all Trojans cost 2 to play. So I never know which one it is.
Exactly. So I don't have to show you the cost.
And then the 2 down here on the activate, that's the cost of activating it.
Exactly.
Triggering its terrible, terrible ability.
Some Trojans are free. I think that they're either free or 2 to fire. I haven't seen a 1 fire Trojan. I might be wrong about that. The only other rules about Trojans is the turn that I play the Trojan, I can't fire it. I have to wait for your turn. I think all the Trojans I've seen, that is just inherently how they work.
Because they're all triggered by me doing something?
You doing stuff inherently. But those are the sort of trap cards. A lot of them will burn your people, yourself, and those are cards I'm going to put down there and let you be scared. There's, I think, 2 of these in the deck. You should probably know this exists. And if you, it's kind of like when you play Hearthstone in the beginning, there's also these sort of secrets that show up. And
I remember playing a lot of secrets.
Yeah. If you don't know what the secrets are, you get blown out by them. They can make non-games. If you know what they are, you start testing for them. So for instance, if you think there's a fatal error 75, you attack with 1 character and see if I pop it. And if I don't pop it, then you think like, oh, that's probably 75. I need to make sure I don't overextend. So that's going to be an interesting thing. Not sponsored, got the product for free, but not affiliated.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I have to be very clear if this is sponsored. I probably should put a thing that says not sponsored in the title.
There's a chevron going underneath or the Chiron.
Yeah, they just sent demo decks and they're like, you can do whatever you want with them. And I said, yeah, I'll take a free demo deck. And then it actually turns out it was kind of a fun
I'm
game.
going to say something that you could never say on a sponsored stream.
Yeah.
Neuroscape, open parentheses, the Pina Colada song, close parentheses.
Yeah, pretty sure this is a Jimmy Buffett thing. I still don't know what's going on.
Yeah, see, no one would ever pay me money to say that.
Okay, the last kind of card we have to talk about are called cyberware, I want to say.
How would I find some of those?
And this is a cool
the last
system.
time we played, I also had trouble finding cyberware, actually.
Yeah, that was a problem.
Yeah.
This is a bad example.
Okay, how about this?
That's a great example.
Yay,
Okay.
I did it, guys.
Can you pull out one of your characters too?
Sure, how about her? She's kind of complicated.
No, but that's fine.
Let's do
Actually, that's a
virtual-
good example.
Okay, cool.
So let's look at this. So firstly, this is Virtual Kid. So Virtual Kid, this is a Matthias Kalza. You might know their art from Netrunner. So Virtual Kid is, oh no, there is blank 1/1s. I forgot, there is actually textless characters.
Yeah, why does my deck have blank 1/1s?
That's all
You have 1/1s that draw you cards.
I'm a hacker.
Damn it.
Cards have these sort of pins. Characters have these pins, not always, but most of them do.
Yeah.
So you notice there's 2 gold pins on the top. Left, right have 1, bottom has 1. If we look at this very shiny card, which I do think is a much more rare card, this is Art Circuit Breaker. Oh, that art is busted. So it doesn't have the pins on it, unfortunately. The foiling on these are really quite nice because it's selective foiling. So you see like the pins are specifically gold. It's very nice.
Look at that.
But what those pins are basically ports in which that character can receive certain complexities of cybernetics.
Yes, exactly.
So the more physical pins on the thing, the more counters or the bigger in like complexity or better cybernetics they can take. So Virtual Kid is the lowest. Virtual Kid can take a level 1. It can take a level 2 head. Notice that the Virtual Kid has a good head. A level 1 arms and a level 1 body.
Now, can I take 2 level 1 heads?
No. So this is the Spectre. Spectre is also like pretty low level cybernetic. It is just a gun. I think it's technically still cybernetic. Oh, cyberware is the term. And notice that it has left and right ports of 1, level 1. That means
I can slot it under my Virtual Kid or under Arc.
not under, to the side, just like this.
Oh, okay, sure.
Right? So the idea is that Virtual Kid in this hand is holding a gun. We could put another cyberware on the right hand.
Oh, okay. So I'm not taking up both of these slots. I have room for another gun.
You have 4 slots.
Okay, cool.
Now again, some characters won't have all slots. Some characters will have higher level slots. What's really important is that a level 3, so like the Arc Circuit, can take any cyberware in the game, it seems, but can also take level 2 and level 1. So a level 2 head on the Virtual Kid could take a level 1 head, but could not take a level 3 head. It's how you think it works.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So I'm looking for other, like I've got Drive Saw, which is a level 2 arm.
So Virtual Kid cannot take the Drive Saw because you only have a 1 pin on the left side. Because this requires at least 2 pins. The art recognizability is a bit hard from a distance. The color scheme's so similar on all the cards. Yeah, I do think there might be some issues with some legibility. There's some color blindness issues. It's very dark. The font is like very, very small. So like the card and art text on this is even hard for me to read, and I'm sitting here. So yeah, there's some issues. I might have been playing a TCG if on you both. Sorry, Jared. Yeah. Cool. Okay, so
I think it's all the card types.
Notably, this card here, Spectre 9mm, this gun, it doesn't have a faction symbol in the bottom left. It just has a blank little pip there. If your cyberware have icons, it actually cares about your mainframe because your mainframe cares about having a certain amount of icons from your faction. We'll talk about that in a second, but that's just a thing. Now, this just gives your character +2/+0. That does what you think it does. Riot Blade, on the other hand, really cool card. This attaches, it gives, I can't read that, +1/+0, I think?
+1/+0 and gives an ability.
Yes. That ability is not on the Riot Blade. That ability is on the Virtual Kid.
Okay, so my Virtual Kid can exhaust or do that too.
And that's really important because a character can only find one ability that requires them to exhaust because then they'll be exhausted. I like Riot Blade's ability. It's very interesting. It's a very cool ability. It's just like one damage ping, right?
Yep, 1 damage ping to anything.
Exactly. And that's where you try and hit my tagger and then the tagger like
oh yeah, because if you use your tagger, then I respond by using Virtual Kid.
The priority's really messed up. This is what I think is fascinating. Because say that I have the tagger. If I say I'm going to increase my tagger strength, you say, no, I'm going to respond by Riot Blading it. And then I lose that trade. So I actually can't use my tagger.
And I can't use Riot Blade.
Because then I tag out of it.
Because then you'll use a tagger to get out of it.
Yes, it's a weird structure.
Which actually brings us to a point where neither of us are using our abilities, which actually makes the game a bit simpler, and that's fine. It's called Mutually Assured Destruction.
Sort of, yeah. But yeah, that is a thing. I'm going to bring up the Drive Saw because it shows the last major mechanic that your deck has. And this is Psychosis. So if a character... Yeah, so your character can have Psychosis, which is meant to be like their mind poorly interfacing with their cyberware.
Yeah, I've got cyber psychosis. It happens all the time.
Happens all the time. So this will give you a number, and you can technically add your psychosis. So if you have psychosis 10 plus psychosis 5, the character now has psychosis 15. And can you read the text? Because I know you just roll a die.
Psychosis says, if this character attacks, blocks, or activates an ability, roll a d20. If you roll lower than its total psychosis, it deals its attack damage to you, and the action fails.
And the action fails. So this is massive. I think a lot of people are going to have strong opinions about this because this is like super coin flippy. In theory, psychosis 10 seems to be the baseline. And that is technically because you have to roll below 10. That is less than 50%.
Yeah, and I've seen a psychosis 5 and I've seen a psychosis 15.
Yes. So there's big numbers here.
And they add to each other. If I have a psychosis 5 card and a psychosis 10 card on the same character, I'm now at psychosis level 15.
If you're at psychosis 20, you only succeed on nat 20, which is hilarious.
Okay, and is there like a therapist card?
No.
Or no? Okay, that's
You can force quit your own cyberware because they're cards you control. You can also force quit the character, and then all attached cards are destroyed. What I will say that makes this a bit better is, do you understand, is that when the psychosis kicks in and you hit yourself with your own drive saw, that is physical damage. I can't do physical damage to you. So it has no impact on me closing the game.
That is interesting. Okay,
so you're right.
Potentially, I can keep on.
You can keep hurting yourself.
I can keep hurting myself until the point where it's no longer fun.
Exactly. At some point, it becomes a problem. The bigger bummer turns out to be that like you had a person who's going to attack me for 9, and instead they attack you for 9.
Yeah.
Or they try and block and they fail the block and attack themselves for 9. Like that's going to be a huge issue for sure. But just keep in mind that I do not do bioframe damage, so you can hurt yourself as much as you want. Losing the activation actually doesn't feel as bad, but I think is actually the worst part of that trade.
Yeah, it's going to feel bad, especially if I'm trying to block and I can't block all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Oh, snap, new game. Kinda. This is Neuroscape on Kickstarter, but this isn't sponsored. What are you doing?
4 more days on Kickstarter, yeah.
4 more days.
Men will do anything to not go to a therapist, even roll a d20.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we just got this for free, and we're trying it out.
Last piece of the puzzle is we each have a mainframe. The mainframes are kind of like your identity. They're less interesting than like Netrunner identities. And all they basically say is what faction you're playing. There's, I think, 6 factions in the first set. We only see 2 of them here, as much as you have some dual faction cards. But these have these sort of like affinity effects. So it says if I have at least 2 hacker icons, whenever I play a Trojan or hacker program, that is my faction icon, I deal 1 damage to any target. So that means my ping deck can do more pings at fast speeds. And then if I ever hit 4 or more hacker icons, it deals an additional 2 damage to the target. That's additional, so it does work on the original damage. I think they cascade. I need to double check that, whether it's one or the other.
Okay.
But yeah, that is a powerful ability. Now this card, somewhat confusingly, has the icon on it, but this does not count towards its affinity. This is meant to remind you what faction the card is from, so it doesn't count itself. You're relatively good at getting a lot of affinity icons because all your cyberware are usually traded by that.
So my faction is called Cybernetic.
Yeah.
So this just requires any 2 cybernetic on the board will trigger my first tier of power.
Yep.
Which is say all cybernetic characters that are equipped with cyberware get +1/+1.
That's good. We're going to use these counters to track it. The game, the demo thing came with a bunch of small counters. They're really foily and they look nice, but they don't look good on camera. So we're just going to be using dice.
And then the next tier up, once I have 4 cybernetic cards, I guess it's cards because it's not just characters. It's any
cyberware cards,
any permanent cards. These characters get an additional +2/+2, so it's total +3/+3.
Yes. That is mostly it. I think we can actually start to play the game. There are gonna be some small rules that'll come up. Oh yeah, one thing that actually seems huge for people watching who played Magic, there's no summoning sickness. So the turn a character comes in, they can immediately attack or they can immediately use their abilities on them. And again, they will exhaust and you're ready to start your turn. That's huge for a lot of folks. There is no summoning sickness, so they can come in and they can just start swinging. The only rule important is on turn 1, the first player can attack because obviously there's no defenders. They don't want you to do free damage for no reason.
Scratch, I'm happy to report Métropole Grid that my partner and I have finally purchased hard copy cards with Gateway and Elevation. It's so much fun to play with the real cards again. I'm really happy to hear that. That's great.
That's sick. Real cards, like, okay, hold on. I don't want to be a real cards elitist because like proxying in Netrunner is allowed and encouraged. But yeah, if you've been like wanting to get the official NSG cards and then you finally get them in and you've been watching them online and like watching content creators, all this sort of stuff, it definitely is something special.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna try gatekeeping because you're too scared to. Like obviously it doesn't count if you have proxy cards. You're not a winner. Please don't. NSG, please don't fire me.
You know you're not a winner.
No, like you can proxy. I just won't love you. Like that's all.
The thickness of the lettering in the text box is hard to read. I do agree. I do think there's some legibility on this. It's not
but these are like, these aren't necessarily all final
I couldn't tell you.
interface design. Yeah, well, we don't actually know yet.
Yeah.
So maybe some of these things are things they're getting feedback from, and
Yep. Or
will
there's a
happen.
chance that the second printing they change it. But there's a bunch of like stuff. But I think the font is a bit too small for me. Yeah.
well,
That bugs
okay. I guess I did walk into that one. I'm
So make
forced
sure
to
you
acknowledge love.
Shuffle your RAM deck.
Okay.
There's 25 of the same card. This is like a cool joke that we have.
It's pretty funny. It's almost like a Pina Colada song joke.
Oh boy. Yo,
Is this
Winnegon.
my deck or your deck?
I honestly don't know. This is mine.
This is mine.
I'm
Okay,
just
we
gonna
did
cut.
it.
Yeah, we did it. I'm just gonna do a cut.
One more quick cut.
This is called Neuroscape TCG. It's on Kickstarter for like 4 more days. This is not sponsored. We just got the demo decks for free, so we're showing off how the game is. I think people might like it. It's a TCG, so a lot of people are already kind of closed the video to some extent. But it has a lot of neat concepts. I actually do appreciate.
yeah,
the demo
and it
decks.
has art that I really like, and I appreciate the aesthetic a little bit. There's things that we'll talk about it. Like I think some people brought up how it's all kind of set the same setting for all the different cards. So it's kind of hard to differentiate them a little bit. Like nighttime in a grimy neon alley, whereas in Netrunner we have like this is daylight, this is nighttime, and that already like helps people differentiate.
What's interesting is the rule book doesn't open. You know how like old FFG Neverwinter rule book started with like this is the future, or it is the future. They have that funny sentence.
Yeah.
And then it's very clear what you're doing. You're the runner versus the hacker versus the corporation, that sort of thing. This doesn't tell you what you're doing. I do think the 5-minute interplay video they put out says that you're in some sort of like virtual fight club or something like that. Like they had some sort of kayfabe that's going on, but the rulebook doesn't actually tell you who you are. They're just saying like, bring your health down. Okay. So I'm interested to see what they do with that, if anything, but there's not a lot of structure of like who we are and what we're doing.
Yeah, like even in Magic, even before they introduced that card type, you were playing as Planeswalkers.
Yes,
That
I
was
don't think you are anymore. I think they changed that now because of the card type.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes some sense. But yeah, it seems like this I'm playing as a collection of people who are all cybernetics, and I am represented by no one in particular.
Yes, and I don't know why you're trying to kill me.
Well, I think chat can imagine a lot of reasons.
Are there any nighttime cards in Elevation? Bigger picture, open market? Yeah, open market's
measured
definitely
response.
Night. There was a bunch in Borealis, but like that's mostly nighttime over there half the time. I think that goes away in the future is daytime. All right, so the order in the rule book here is not my favorite order. They said they might change this, but in theory, what we want to do first is draw 5 cards, and then you can do a mulligan. Your mulligan is selective. The cards that you don't want, you put on the bottom of your deck in your choice of order. There's a couple shuffle effects, so that actually might come back up, but probably won't. Okay. I would recommend having cheap people. The ramp people, we all have cheap 1-cost rampers. Those seem pretty good. Yeah.
So I'm going to put 2 on the bottom of my deck?
Yes.
And draw 2 to replace.
Seems good. I'm trying to find some cheap people. Again, my deck is all about like chip damage and like instant speeds. You are a bit different. Okay, I'm going to put 3 on the bottom of my deck. So this is a thing that I think is strange. In theory, I want to wait to see how many cards you mulligan to know how bad your hand is. I think that you should figure out who's actually the first player first and then do it in the prescribed order. Now we roll a d20.
Harry goes first. Harry chooses.
Yeah, you have your own. You don't have to wait. Harry chooses. These are hard to read. You got a 19, I have a 2. So pretty decisive. So you can decide to go first or second.
I will...
The only difference, and I didn't talk about the rule structure, the turn structure, that'll just come up organically, is that the player who goes first on turn 1, not only can they not attack your opponent, but instead of drawing their 2 cards per turn, which can either be RAM or cards from your deck, they can only draw 1. So their turn is a bit more limited, but they do get to go first. Cool. So, do you want to go first or second?
I will go first.
Okay. Let me bring up
Yeah.
the on your turn reminder card.
Yeah, accelerated sericulture takes place at night.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Green mail.
No, it's like dusky.
Yeah, I guess so.
So here's your turn. The first thing you do on your turn is the initialize phase. That's kind of like your upkeep phase. First thing you want to do is a stability check. We won't have to care about that. This ends up in situations where you have characters that don't have enough RAM underneath them. They might have a problem. Next up, you go refresh. That means...
Can I ever... Sorry to interrupt. Can I ever put more RAM under a character than needed?
No.
Okay.
Next is your refresh phase. That is where you wake up all your cards. And then this is a really important phase to draw and install a total of 2 cards from either your cyber deck, which is add cards to your hand, or your RAM, which is...
So I could do 1 and 1.
Yes, and you can always see one before you see the other. Now again, I said this at the beginning, our deck of RAM is 25 identical cards that are all worth 1 RAM, 1 energy, 1 mana, however you want to call it. But I do think in the game you're allowed to add at least 5 weird RAM cards. So the deck, I don't know if it'll just be more powerful or more specialized. Cool. Yeah, Lauren.
Yeah, I'm going first.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm going to draw 1 RAM.
And you put in your RAM bank.
And I put in my RAM bank right away.
Ready. Okay. The next phase is your force quit. So here, if you have any of your installed cards, you could delete them to get the RAM back into your RAM bank ready.
I will elect not to.
Of course. Now it's your deploy phase. This is where you play cards, and you can play programs here if you want to. This is the only place you can play your people. And then we go to the combat phase, which will still enter, but you're not allowed to attack. There is a net check phase. We'll get to that in a second.
And now deploy phase, I will deploy a scrapper.
Cool.
Who is going to take up one of my RAM.
Cool.
The scrapper, cross the scrapper, and you may find yourself on the wrong end of their welding torch.
Cool.
Not bad. Yeah, so she's a 1/1, and she has an ability for 2 RAM. I can exhaust her to install another RAM. Comes into play exhausted, but this is how I can kind of ramp up.
Yes.
Oh my God, is that where
it
the word
comes
ramp
from.
comes
Yeah,
from?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Cool.
What's very important is this ability is fast. So you can do it during your deploy phase, but in theory, you can do it during any of the quick checks. So just to bring it up on this screen, we haven't talked about combat yet, but there's a bunch of, you see those like chevron arrows dotted all through the combat phase? Those are all forced fast checks, swift checks. And that means there's always a paid ability window there. So there's a paid ability window right at the last part of your turn, the reset phase. That's the last thing you do on your turn, which means right before your turn starts, if your scrapper is ready and you have 2 ready RAM, you can just ramp there. And unless I like hit it with a bolt, you're guaranteed to get your ramp. I think that's really cool. I've seen a couple people play this online where they're just like ramping immediately into the deploy phase. There is zero reason to do that.
There's no reason to do that. You might as well keep this character here in case you can do something with it.
Now, the only plus side to that maybe is if you're worried that I'll have RAM and I'll lightning bolt it right away, you could still respond to it, but you technically can't because you don't have RAM. But yeah, you should probably keep your abilities till as late as possible.
Because so what happens if you attack, I defend with her, and I exhaust her while I'm defending?
You have to exhaust to defend, so you can't.
I see. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. We haven't talked about combat, but you have to exhaust your character to defend. We'll just talk about combat.
Okay.
When you attack, you choose your attackers. You don't choose their targets. I'm just attacking you. Then you can decide who to block. You can multi-block. I decide as the attacker where I spread my damage, and everybody does full retaliate damage.
Okay.
So if I'm attacking with a 2/2 and you block with a 2/2, they both trade at the same time. Any damage left on the character is just healed at the end of the phase, so you don't have to like track damage on characters.
Yeah, it says the reset phase, you clear damage from characters in the past turn. Yep. Okay, cool. Anyway, I have summoned. So they apparently they don't like. Obviously, that is an elegant way to do it, Flip. But I think in the full game there will be some RAM cards that are special.
Yeah,
which would be hard to do on the backs of cards.
Yeah, I agree.
But I agree that would be another way to approach this.
That's I think how Lorcana and Limited Star Wars do it. All right. So then you go to your net check. This is a weird phase that very few cards care about. Some of my cards do, but during the net check, it's kind of like start a turn. It's just like an arbitrary paid ability window that things will happen that say, at your net check, something good or bad happens.
Gain a RAM or something. Yeah.
Exactly. Then we hit combat. Now, in theory, you cannot attack me, but this is where you could attack me on turn 1. You're not allowed to. There's a bunch of fast abilities here at multi different times anytime you see that chevron. And then we jump to reset, which there's a fast ability first, and then you clear all damage, and then you pass the turn. It's good?
Yep.
So it's me. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to go to my draw phase, my initialize. I don't have to do any of these things, refresh, and I'm going to draw 2 RAM and add them to my RAM bank.
Fair.
Then I will... I'm going to just spend 2 RAM, and I'm going to put a Trojan.
Dang it.
On your mainframe. So this is a card that can pop whenever I want. It might cost me some energy to pop it, some RAM to pop it, but that card is just there. Not only this card also might have an affiliation icon for my faction, but we won't know.
Yeah. Emily, so the alpha of this game had AI art, and I think you mentioned it's still on their equivalent of NetRunDB.
I think that's a hidden thing. Like it's not on their website, but you can find it.
Okay, but basically, like they have now gone to the effort of hiring human artists, and like every card we're playing with is arted by a human.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Including at least one person who's also worked on Null Signal Games Netrunner.
Yeah, art's good. Art's quite good.
Yeah.
I do think something that I've noticed is that the art on the cards printed versus the art on the scans we'll see, this came out a fair bit darker. So I don't know if that's a printing thing. It's all you. I'll just pass.
Okay, so on my turn.
Do you want to force quit your scrapper?
No.
Okay.
Stop forcing me to do that.
Technically,
also, it would happen after.
Yeah, so you can see your cards.
Well,
I just want you to know your options. Spent so much time trying to teach you the game. Go ahead.
I'm gonna get 2 RAM. Zip zip. And then I'm going to deploy. Nothing.
Great.
Then the net check phase, nothing happens. Combat, I'm not going to attack. And as we approach the reset phase, I'm going to use...
You can do it on my turn. You don't have to do it now. Just do it on my turn. Because now you're
can do it
threatening
on
to do
your turn?
Yeah, you can do it at any
No,
fast
no,
window.
no.
Why?
Because right now you have used ram.
Sure.
If I do it now, you won't be able to stop me with a bolt.
But even if I bolt you, you can respond fast and do that. Oh, you're right. Sort of, you're right. Yeah, that's fine. That's acceptable.
Sort of.
That's acceptable.
Hey, folks, can we clip that? He said I'm sort of right.
He's sort of right.
Yeah, I'm going to use these and exhaust her
Yeah,
to install another one of these running, which means it's already exhausted.
exactly. But now I'm not scared of you. That being said, you're not the sort of deck I have to be scared at instant speed. Okay. Good?
Yeah, I'm great.
All right, it's me. I ready my ram. I'm going to go and I'll draw one. No, I'll just do 2 ram.
Destiny, that sounds pretty cool. I like to prototype a lot on little game designs that I have sometimes. So you should share what that website is. Probably no link in the chat, but like you can share the name of it.
There are websites out there specifically for easy making simple playtests, start from symbols and colors, no AI needed. Yes, I've used a bunch of those for other stuff. There is the one that just has a bunch of icons. I think that's usually good enough. Also, just grabbing like open art that is in the domain is totally reasonable.
Yeah,
too.
and I've used like Nandeck to like prototype cards, and I think they come with some symbols pre-installed. So,
All right, I'm gonna run 3 ram for Black Hat.
hey, Black Cat.
So the ram is underneath it. Just bring up Black Hat. Black Hat has an ability that I can exhaust Black Hat at fast speed. Oh, not even exhaust, just pay 2 ram to add a corruption counter to target's opponent's mainframe. What's a corruption counter? Doesn't matter, it just does what this text is. It says on their net check, they take 1 mainframe damage for each corruption counter. You have no way to clear the counters.
I do have ways to clear the counters.
Oh, sorry, you have a card that can clear the counter, but inherently you have no rules text to clear counters. Like you have
There's
no
no purge, yeah.
I will go to combat. I will attack for 2. You can't block.
Okay.
So zip zoop. So the first one just turned the deck on, yeah. So you can see the number here. Okay. The number here will tell you what it should be.
Cool.
And now I'm exhausted, so I can't block out, but I will pass.
Cool. So
I only have 1 floating, which means there's a chance I can't do my Trojan.
All right, so stability check. Then I refresh. Everything needs to be refreshed.
Yeah.
I can draw or install. I think I'm gonna do 1 and 1. Well, so I can draw 1 first, then decide.
100%.
Okay.
You always should.
Yeah, I'll do.
Unless you have weird ram cards, which we don't.
Which we don't. Now I get to decide. I'm not going to force quit. I'm choosing not to sacrifice my scrapper at this point.
Yeah, makes sense. It's a good chump block.
Yeah, it's a cyberpunk themed dude basher, basically, with a kind of like funky econ element to it. And
the RAM energy system is like really charming.
Yeah, there's parts of it that I think, like we talked about this a bit earlier. Like it might be nice if Netrunner just had like MU cards.
I want MU cards.
That you could just like put the programs onto.
Yeah,
I actually would kind of like that very much. So,
which is not exactly what this game is doing, but I do think it is quite cool.
Yeah. So I've got 4 RAM.
Yeah.
You've got 1 of those, which means you can zap my character.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm gonna wait. Maybe I'm gonna wait a moment. Because I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to deploy a scrapper.
I've seen that one. That water is way more cold than I was expecting.
Ooh, it's brisk.
Yeah.
Then net check, nothing net checks.
Yeah.
And then I will declare attackers. I'm going to attack with 1 of my scrappers.
Yeah, that tracks. I'll take 1. It's physical because it has a red thing on it.
Take 1 red damage.
MU card backer seems like a cool art. Yeah, I would be totally fine. I might just take this deck and have 4 MU that I put my cards on top of. Emily, people do that all the time. I would recommend putting your Trojans on your side of the table and putting a little token on your where it's hosted.
Yeah.
So I couldn't block because, mind you, we didn't talk about combat, but it's exactly how the way that you think it is. However, you don't attack characters, you attack the player, and then the player can block. However, exhausted characters can't block. Also, as you know, hopefully, you cannot use this ability because the person is exhausted.
Yeah. And I think I'm going to wait until your turn to see if maybe I want to use her fast ability.
Legit. It's all good?
Yes. It's too legit.
Okay, so start a turn. We're ready.
I can't force quit because of the amount of legit
Great.
that I am.
I'm going to draw 1, and then I'm going to do a ram. And I'm going to run my ram down to 0.
Hey, a deep diver.
A deep diver. So,
looks cool.
This ability, I don't honestly like in the early game. Spend 1 and exhaust this to move the hacker program closest to the bottom of your recycle bin. That's your bin, to the top of your cyber deck. It seems like ordering, you can't shuffle your discard pile. Not a mechanic I love. I love reordering my discard pile. But I do have a 1/1. Now I do have 2 hackers, the same way that you have 2 of your own characters. So I have hit my mainframe ability on Firestarter. So again, Firestarter says, When you play a Trojan or hacker program, deal 1 damage to any target. So now going forward, if these stay around, and you can always like say I play a Trojan before this goes off, because this is fast speed, you can respond by destroying one of my people if you have a fast ability. You also have your synthetic one, which says
all my cybernetic characters I control that are equipped with cyberware get +1/+1.
Cool.
Now I'm hoping.
Yeah,
that I
me
see
too, me
some
too, me too, me
cyberware.
too. All right, so it'll go to my combat phase.
Yeah,
That's what it's called. It's called combat.
we love combat.
We do like combat. I might not attack just so that you can attack, but Black Cat for 2 damage. I think I'll just keep these around. I'm gonna pass.
Okay, well at the end of your turn, then I will exhaust these 2 and exhaust Scrapper to ramp some more RAM.
That makes sense.
Back to me?
Yeah.
Okay,
I have
so
3 cards in hand, no RAM.
Stability, and then I refresh, and then I choose what to draw.
Hey, both and everyone. Hey, Aris. How
Hey.
MTG are the rules? I don't know. I don't play a lot of MTG.
I guess fairly MTG, but like the RAM stuff changes things so much.
The stack seems to be very MTG.
So I'm drawing 1 from the top.
You're still planeswalkers. The card types are just allies you call upon. Oh, okay. I might just do this for the sake of it to track my like allegiance.
It's cute. Tap them though.
Yeah, it has like this first in last out stack. Sorry, last in first out stack, like Magic. Have you ever played Ashes? Pat plays the shit out of Ashes. I have a whole Ashes collection, or at least not full anymore.
Yeah, I don't think my Ashes collection is full. I do like Ashes, and someday I'll get like I did back the Kickstarter because especially the new Magic type looks pretty interesting. Or the 2 new Magic
because
types.
they're rebooting.
I'm actually yes.
Again.
It's not a reboot.
Whatever.
Anyway, well, we'll play it on Crashbase or something, and I'll force you to do it.
I've only had good times playing Ashes with you.
Okay.
It's actually the reason I bought Ashes is we had such a good time playing it. I'm like, wait, this game's sick, and then I just haven't played it.
And then we've basically not played since then.
Yeah, that was college.
Okay, so I drew 1 card from the top, and I haven't even decided yet if I'm going to draw a second. I'm going to draw a second from the top.
Okay.
Damn it.
That was 2 from your deck?
2 from my deck.
Holy crap, you got RAM. The playtest art generator was game icons. I think that's the one I've used, yeah.
This is cool. A lot of cool stuff here. Man.
Did you find any cyberware?
I have cyberware I can't use.
Ah, yeah.
So
The Scrapper's not very good at cyberware.
No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deploy Lugnut. Lugnut is a pug.
Yeah, Pugnut.
Pugnut. Lugnut has an ability called Bork, where I can just exhaust them to make target character with 3 or less defense not block until end of turn.
And that's fast.
It's a fast
so
ability.
you can declare attackers and then do that before I can declare blockers.
Bucklers?
Whatever.
A buckler is something you block with.
It also has 2 block. Like, that's not bad for a 1-cost card. It's
No,
pretty good,
it's actually pretty decent.
It's also one of these.
That's true. Thank you.
So I do think this is a rarity thing. The color.
Yeah, I
of
think
the
there's like
crest.
bronze, silver, gold.
Yeah, the gold ones I think are actually foiled out. They're like really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool, but hard to people get in because it has like no luck elements. Ashes? I guess you roll dice. There's some luck.
Yeah, I mean, Ashes has more luck mitigation than most other games. So like, yeah, you roll the dice, but there's like, you can kind of expect what you'd get. And because you're rolling 10 dice, like if you're just rolling 1 die, the difference between a 1 and a 6 can be tremendous. But rolling 10 dice, like things will kind of even out a little bit over time.
You wouldn't dare kill the dog. I mean,
he would dare to kill the dog.
if the program destroys the dog,
Yeah,
is it my fault?
exactly.
Love to see your take on the game Singularity EXE. No randomized deck, a handful of tiny decks that you order to get your combo. Oh, I've never heard of that.
All right, so that was deploy, net check, nothing net checking.
Yeah.
And
I'm feeling pretty bad about my board state.
I'm feeling pretty good.
My mulligan was bad.
So if I do that.
Yeah. Why don't you give you some psychosis so that you start attacking yourself? That would be good.
I think I'm going to give myself some psychosis actually, just to be fun. Just have some fun with this.
Yeah.
Come on.
I'll just put this there to scare you.
Okay. Yeah, so. So basically, something that isn't fast, I can play.
Only during your deploy phase.
Oh, only during the deploy phase. Okay, so in that case, before my net check phase,
Yeah.
I'm going to give one of my scrappers a jolt of Kiwi Crush.
Nice.
Megaroids Kiwi Crush.
So these are drugs, technically?
Yeah, so I have to run 2 RAM
Yeah.
to run this program, which is itself an energy drink.
Yeah.
And Megaroids Kiwi Crush says, I give target character I control +4/+4 and
Jesus.
10 psychosis or 5 psychosis if it's a cybernetic character.
And it is.
And it is.
Yeah.
So it's now a 5/5.
Okay. 6/6, no?
6/6. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna do some thinking.
Yeah. What's the psychosis?
Psychosis is 5.
Only 5.
Yeah.
So there's a small chance you goof
Yeah,
it.
I could.
You could goof it.
Things could go wrong.
Yeah.
Then I will, during the combat phase,
Yeah.
fast speed Bork
Sure.
to say that Deep Diver cannot block,
Okay.
and I'll attack with the Scrapper, who is fired up on Kiwi Crush.
So how psychosis works, first you pay the cost, so you exhaust the scrapper, and then you roll the die.
Okay.
So if you roll, again, I'm going to pull up, what is the Kiwi Crush? I just need the full name so I can search it.
Megaroids,
Thank you.
Kiwi Crush.
So then you roll the die. If you roll sub 5, things go poorly.
Okay. Well, under 5.
Yeah, sub
Okay.
5, yeah.
Okay, come on. Come on, baby. That's a 4. It's a 4.
That's sub 5.
It's sub 5. So I have done
5 damage, just 6 damage to yourself.
Oh my god, because
No, this doesn't do anything because you have no cybernetics.
no, it did do something. Yeah, it has no cybernetic. Okay, so that's something. You're right.
Okay,
it's
so
like
it feels bad.
it feels bad,
but
but yeah.
Physical damage does not matter outside of your own
So I'm taking
problems.
5 damage to myself.
6, sorry. Because this gives +5 and it has 1.
Okay, this is plus 4.
Doesn't it give +5 if it's
No, the psychosis is reduced.
Oh, okay.
So
okay,
the funny thing is, I was less psychosis
Yeah.
than I would have been.
But yes, psychosis sounds super swingy and random to play with. Yes, it does. That is for sure.
Yeah, it does.
I do want to say Pat did do this to himself. But the cool thing with this matchup is that
Hang on, I did it for the
yeah,
I did it for the stream.
Did for the stream.
I did it for the stream.
Is that the mainframe damage? Sorry, the bioframe damage done to Pat has no implication on him losing the game realistically because I can't do any more bioframe damage to him.
Yeah. Now, do you want to trigger any Trojans that blow up my attacking unit or something?
No, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So anyway,
Also, to be clear, you have to designate, and again, if this was not clear, we can pull it back. You have to designate all your attackers during the attack phase. So
I was only designated the one.
Okay, cool. Just saying for the stream, that makes sense though.
Yep. All right. So combat is done. Damage has been dealt.
Yes, to some players.
The the energy drink goes away.
Yeah, it goes into your recycle bin.
Yeah, I feel like maybe we should recall that product, given that it does any amount of psychosis. Frankly,
I mean, that was not likely.
is this what Four Loco is?
This is for Four Loco.
Okay, that's what Four Loco is. Your
I'm
turn.
happy to have gone through university when Four Loco was a thing. Let's just say that. Okay.
One of the many things I missed out on by not following higher education.
I'm just gonna have to ram myself up. My hand size stinks, so I'm gonna go ram.
Psychosis for content.
Psychosis.
If that is what people know me for, then I'm okay with that.
So I could, in theory, play a Trojan, and the Trojan would ping for 1 damage because of my fire starter. So I could ping your fire starter. I think I'd actually rather. The thing is, like, as soon as you play cybernetic, I think that is a fast window. I'm not sure if I can shoot the person down first. This is where, like, I'm not sure about the timing.
Oh, so because a cybernetic is slow, it kind of exists outside the stack?
From my understanding, anytime that you play a card or do an ability, it creates a swift check. So if you try and attach a cybernetic to the scrapper, I can, in theory, respond by doing 1 damage. And I think that precedes the cybernetic being attached, so you don't get the +1/+1 or the text of the cybernetic. That's my understanding.
Okay, well, yeah, that would work a bit like magic.
Exactly.
Then. Yeah, if I try to play a sorcery, someone could respond with an instant and so on.
So I think, just for the sake of managing your board, I'm going to pay 2 for a Trojan, and I'm going to use my Firestart ability, because I already have 2 hacker icons. When you play a Trojan or hacker program, deal 1 damage to any target. I'll ping the ready scrapper. Okay. Cool, the ram goes back running. Now I go to my combat phase.
Yep.
I actually like this blocker a fair bit, and with Bork, or with Lugnut, excuse me, with the Bork ability, I don't think I want to actually run any of my people. So I'm just gonna straight pass.
Okay.
I feel like the only way I can win is by controlling the table to make sure I don't snowball. Doing this chip damage probably isn't my game plan right now. That's my guess. I don't know what I'm doing.
All right, so back to me. Stability check.
Pat
Refresh.
is only 20 minutes later. Pat dies to physical damage somehow.
Yeah.
Do you want to force quit on your friends? You get the ram back.
Kind of want to force quit this freaking Lugnut.
Yeah,
Does basically do nothing, little dog.
But for what it's worth, it's like if I have a expensive card in my hand, I can force quit my black hand and suddenly be like big card go, and like that's kind of sick.
Yeah, it's kind of sick.
Sometimes it's right.
But all I've got is a pug and
I know.
a woman who's like trying to help me out, and I'm like, not.
She's doing good.
She's doing
ramped
fine,
one.
I guess.
Yeah. I think a good strat to turtle up until opponent's self-psychosis is, we'll just wait. 2 Trojans.
And draw from the top.
But no ram.
I have not yet drawn a cybernetic I can equip.
Yeah. You're drawn. You have enough ram. I don't think you need more than 4 off most
Draw
top
again.
decks.
Okay, I cannot equip that. This is fine.
In terms of the construction of the demo decks, there's a lot of, I don't think any card is more than 3 of. I think they're mostly 2 ofs. But there is like a bunch of the common ones.
Hey, check this out.
Yeah.
I'm going to play Bombs Over Baghdad.
You gotta stop saying that, I think.
It's B.O.B.
This is, I think, the mascot for the game. So B.O.B. has this ridiculous effect. What does it do?
As a fast effect, I can exhaust 2 Ram to Boom.
Yeah.
Destroy Bob and deal 4 damage to all players' physical, net, and characters. So basically, everything on the board and the players all take 4 damage.
What's really funny is the priority. If I try and do 1 damage with Firestarter to Bob, you just say no and you explode, and that will happen first. This is a bit of the mascot. Notably, too, the icon there, that is apparently a different faction we haven't seen.
Yeah, so I guess...
Robots.
I guess there's a robot faction, or robots are something that can go into other factions. They're like a neutral. I don't know.
I don't know if there's a robot mainframe at this point.
Yeah, we will find out.
Yeah, Bob is going to be a problem.
Yeah, and then I don't know, attack with Bob. No. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna hang out over here with my buddies.
Cold War, okay.
Yeah.
Back to me?
Back to you.
No force quit. Already. I'm gonna do 1 for my deck. Nice. And then I'll do 1 Ram. I don't want to commit characters to the table because of Bob. Do I board white Bob? I'm going to try and board white Bob.
Okay, how are you going to do it?
So I'm going to spend 3, and I'm going to play an environment called the net.
Okay.
Now, this comes into play, and it says, whenever a player plays a program, they may draw 1 from the cyber deck. I don't know if it counts itself. I'm just going to say it doesn't, because this is technically a program. We said this before, but environments are cards that just basically, there only be 1 environment in play, but it interacts with both players, and whoever plays the last environment has an environment. Now, when this comes into play, I fire Firestarter and says, when you play a Trojan, technically I have 3 now, or Hacker Person, deal 1 damage to any target. So I'll target Bob for 1 damage. You're allowed to blow up Bob.
I think, once again, I'm doing it for you.
Yeah.
The people. Thank you, Bob.
Okay, so what does Bob do again?
Bob does 4 damage to all players' physical and net. So let's do 1, 2, 3, 4. Can this handle multiple inputs at once? I hope so.
No. Well, yeah, you just knock it a couple times. Yeah, like that.
And then all characters.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I don't have any fast abilities to react off of that, but that cleaned the board up. My RAM is running, so at least we have all the RAM in the world. The net is in play. I am now down to only 1, and you're down to 0 of your faction. All right.
Cool.
Environment is like a current? Yeah, it's exactly like a current. Except you can force quit it on the start of your turn if you wanted to. This also hits you, so if you do play programs, you draw cards. It might not be the worst.
Yeah, I don't have many programs, but I have some, for sure.
Okay, so we've solved our mana issue. That's the cool thing about this engine, the mana engine. It moves in and out pretty consistently. I'll pass.
Yeah. Okay, so stability check.
You're good.
Deeply unstable. Refresh. I'll draw 1 card from the top. Ooh.
Elephant?
Not yet. Okay. Okay.
So now I can just draw cards, and drawing 2 every phase, every start of turn is really great.
And then I will get 1 Ram.
Fuck. Okay. Yeah,
which means something's happening.
I know.
Okay, so then deploy phase, I'll play Faceless Oni.
Okay.
Faceless Oni is pretty cool.
Yeah.
They can duel your characters.
And it's fast.
And it's a fast effect duel. So I can, like, if your tagger tries to spray paint somebody up, I'm like, no, I'm going to challenge you to a sword fight.
Also has like some of the best ports in the game. So 3 on top, 3 on sides, 2 on body. Can you read the text? It's a bit too small for me to read.
Dual target character. Both characters deal their damage to each other. Yeah. If Faceless Oni destroys the opponent character, I deal 3 damage to its controller.
Shit, okay.
That's very good.
And if they mutually destroy each other, the trigger still goes off.
Cool.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah.
And I've still got 3 left.
Yeah.
It's kind of a wild amount of things.
You can also swing with this.
Yeah,
like it doesn't have summoning sickness.
I haven't done deploying.
I know.
Done deploying. This is Nux.
Oh boy.
Nux is a cybernetic.
Yeah.
It's a cyberware. I'm going to equip the Oni with it. So the Oni gets +7/+0.
Oh, I'm cooked.
And then +1/+1.
Yeah.
Because of my mainframe.
So you're at 13 attack.
I'm at 13 attack.
Oh, what, are you serious? Yeah, okay.
And then the combat phase, I'm declaring an attacker. So take 13 physical damage.
Well, hold on. Psychosis first. This could go any way.
Oh, shoot. He does have...
You actually could flatline yourself.
He does have psychosis. Oh, no. Okay,
you could lose the game.
Okay. Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I do have Psychosis 10.
If you fail this roll, you lose. Are you sure you want to do this?
Yeah.
Okay. 16.
Okay, take 13 damage.
I take 13 damage.
Whew. Huh. Whew.
Yeah, coin flip the game, honestly, maybe. I was on 15, I'm on 2, if I did that right. Yoy, what's the text on Pummel? It's another duel?
Yeah, dual target character, but it doesn't have the bonus that Faceless Oni does. So it's more expensive, but I can put it on anyone.
Yeah.
And that's kind of nice.
Okay. Content Demons, comma W, never punished. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't have taken that coin flip, but I guess. It's me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I ready all my RAM. So I have some issues. If you duel me and I lose, I just die, right? Because I take 3 physical?
Yep, he is exhausted.
Yes. So I'll draw.
Well, if I duel, then I do have to go through the Psychosis roll.
Yes. Psychosis
'cause-
fires whenever you do an ability.
Can I overinstall a cybernetic? Cyberware?
No, but you can force quit
Mm.
at the beginning of your turn.
Cool.
And you'll get the RAM. Well, you won't get the RAM back because, obviously. I'll draw again. Dog, I'm pretty cooked. Jesus. I have a card if I play it, I lose the game.
Is it a Deja Vu?
It's Deja Vu.
Take 3 damage?
Yeah, I just cannot play Deja Vu. Deja Vu, oops, excuse me, is just like the take another turn card.
Fortune favors the swole. Damn right.
Virus or Trojan? I think I have to do this. So I'm going to play 2.
Mm-hmm.
For Phantom OS.
Mm-hmm.
Phantom OS. Ugh. I think I have to do this. I just don't know if there's a virus or Trojan that's going to stop me from losing.
May I see Phantom OS?
Yeah. So it costs 2. I don't tap it, so I guess I might as well. So
this is great
2.
Netrunner art.
Yeah.
Brian M. Narenda.
So now I'm going to go search my deck for a virus or Trojan.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do I do? Add it to my hand?
Reveal it and then add it to your hand.
Okay, let me
Then
read
shuffle.
every card in my deck.
Okay, yeah, you go ahead. I'm just going to vamp for a little bit, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, what have people been playing? I finally have been messing around with my Embernick SP. I'm doing UFO 50. I used Portmaster to get UFO 50 on it. I've only played Party House, but Party House is good. It's
That was the good one, right?
It's the one I've heard that most people love. Like a lot of other games on it are kind of divisive. Party House is like Quacks of Quedlinburg, but you're trying not to get too many rowdy guests at the same time, and then eventually buying up your VIP guests, your Drew Carries, for those of us who are living large.
Virus or Trojan?
Virus or Trojan. What else have I been doing? Super Mario Mon. That's a good time.
Yeah.
And the demo for Pokemon Lazarus. Because I'm into Pokemon ROM hacks now. I'm a Pokemon ROM hack guy.
Yeah, I've told you this. You're the second person I've heard this in a week, which like I don't
Yeah.
know why the tides have changed.
Mm-hmm. And then what else? What else I've been reading? I haven't been reading it too much lately. I read The Steerswoman by Rosemary Kirsten. I really, really liked it. Like, it is obviously the beginning of a series, but like as a fantasy universe that is cozy while also having a weirdly like distant relationship with death. Like, there's a lot of death in The Steerswoman, but it all is. It's like it's being told to you from someone who's in shock, and yet I don't find it disturbing. I find it interesting. I find it strange, and I just really like the universe a lot. This titular steerswoman is someone who's so devoted to knowledge that she's taken like a pledge. Like, she's a paladin of knowledge who can never lie to anyone, but if anyone ever lies to her or refuses to answer her questions, she can banish them from ever knowing anything that the steerswomen know. Very interesting. I have played a lot of Blueprints. I'm at the point now where I'm okay with being done with it.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm okay with that. Like, it's definitely not complete, but I'm like, I have now reached the ratio where like, okay, it's just getting a little bit too long for things to happen, and I'm no longer like gaining interesting things at a reasonable pace, and I'm feeling kind of dumb a little bit too. And I also know enough things that I could be doing, but they take so long to make that happen. But still, like, it's a game that I found very satisfying. I think different people will kind of stop playing at different points, and I'm happy with the point I stopped at.
Okay.
Tell me.
Art is good. Concept is a bit male gazy. I feel like all of the zap spells I have are like the backs of women, and that sits weird.
Well, you zap with your butt.
Do you zap with your butt? Okay, I'm getting this. I have to show this to you. I have a very narrow chance of getting out of this. It's super narrow.
So redirect is a Trojan.
Yeah.
Attach face down 2 components. Mainframe, sure. Choose new targets for target character ability on the cache. That's interesting.
I don't think you can attack yourself,
No, I'm sure not.
but
If I only have one character and you can't really redirect.
Yes. Let alone the duel. The duel, I don't think I can redirect. But what I
No,
have
I think
to
the duel
do,
you can redirect.
But what does it say? Target. Oh, yeah, I can target anybody. Yeah, but if there's nobody else to target, you have to target.
Exactly.
me,
Yeah.
So I'm gonna run 2. This is my only chance here. Is I'm gonna target 2, and I'm gonna play the last Trojan. That allows me to do
1 damage.
1 damage to it.
So I've got 2 health on this Oni.
But I gotta draw a card.
Ooh. Okay.
I need to draw basically a cheap zap spell.
The one that does 2 damage for 1 zap for 1 cost.
Ah, it's so painful.
He's drawn it.
Pass.
Okay.
So 3 Trojans. Just be careful.
Yeah. So you didn't use one when I attacked, which means I don't think you have the one that
I had no energy.
You had no energy. That's
no
true.
ramp.
Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's what I would. I had that in mind when I did that.
Yeah.
And you have a 1/1 on the table.
Yes.
Okay.
Fuck. Oh, in hindsight, we'll talk about this after. I think I did something bad. I think I had a better play here.
Right. So I refresh.
Yeah. It's your stability check, fine, refresh, fine. Now you can draw 2 cards.
I'll draw 2 ram.
That's not good. The fact that everything comes in and that can just like rush me down, like I'm very in a bad spot.
I'm gonna deploy.
Yeah.
Arc the circuit breaker.
That can't be good.
She seems fun. I think she won a Netrunner event.
Oh yeah? Yeah.
She's the circuit breaker.
The circuit breaker's
Yeah.
here.
We are the forgotten, the unwanted trash of this city. We
Kikai, cheer up.
well, hang on a second. I'm parsing this weird. We refuse to die in obscurity, but we refuse to die in obscurity because she's trash. She said she's trash. Like, it's not my fault. I'm confused. Hire me if you need an editor. I'm available at not cheap. We will make you remember our names. Her name is Arc, which is a common noun, so I'm not going to remember her name.
I like Arc. I can remember Arc. This like art is like super League of Legends to me.
Yeah, it's very Vi coded.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's cool though.
Yeah.
This scan for some reason doesn't have the pins, but she's
got max pins.
Yeah.
Not that I ever want to install anything cybernetic ever again.
Yeah.
It's too scary. All right, my turn.
Yeah, I guess so.
It is still my turn, actually. Yeah.
Still your turn.
Still in deploy. Going net check, nothing to net check. Going to combat. I'm going to use a fast action.
What's that?
To deal 1 damage to all your characters.
Is that what that character does?
System shock. Deal 1 damage to all opponent's characters.
That's a huge.
It doesn't specify what kind of damage. I guess because it never affects you. So.
Yeah, that's a huge relief. I think if you faceless only.
Oh, I meant to force quit.
No, dude, please.
Okay, I'm going to force quit.
Yeah,
this.
that seems right. That seems right.
Then I'm going to attack with the Oni.
Okay.
Declaring the Oni as an attacker. Are you going to use any Trojans?
I will. I'll spend 2.
Okay. Oni dead. Fatal error has affected the Oni.
Yeah, that's good. I needed that. So activate 2, destroy all target attackers. All attacking characters for 2. I don't think this fires Firestarter, but I only have 1, so it doesn't matter.
Freaking better not.
I got out of that for a second.
Oh, the net counts itself, of course.
Yes. Yeah, the net counts itself. Yeah, if you did the duel, I might have been cooked there.
But maybe. Well, no, you did have the one that can redirect, and then I had another character.
Yeah, I think you had to not play and just duel.
If I didn't play another character and I just dueled.
I realized in hindsight, I shouldn't have played the character.
That's a good point.
Because the only way that I lose is off of the duel, so if I don't play a character, you can't duel.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great point.
Yeah.
Should have considered that.
Is it me?
Yep.
Okay, so we're back in it. I still have 7. 1, 2, 3. Again, the fact that you get the energy back, but now that you're on no energy because you committed all to this. Your energy, no, you have 4 because the guy left.
4 running,
I have to draw cards. So I'll draw 1. Okay.
Did I trash the RAM? No, I didn't. I don't think you don't.
Cyberware doesn't have.
Cyberware doesn't have running RAM.
Yeah, only characters do. 2. Sick, we're back in it. Pat, let's have some fun. First, I'm gonna play an admin for 1. This is my mana dork.
God damn it.
Okay, so I can exhaust this as a 1/1. It's also just a chump blocker as much as Arc Circuit Breaker is gonna destroy it. So maybe it's not worth playing. I don't know. I'm now going to do 2, but the big thing why I did this is that this has now synergy. I'm going to play Fishing. This is a cool card. So it's a program EXE, so I have to play it during my deploy phase. Target player, Patrick, reveals his hand, and you choose a card. They discard that card. First, I will do 1 damage to your cyberframe, your mainframe.
So look at my hand.
So we have to get rid of the worst card that Pat has. So Pat has a Dumpster Diver, which is a 1/1. The Plug, that is search for a drug card. It's a 1/1. And then the Nux, which gives +7. I'm going to not have that around there. Thank you. Okay, so that's that.
Yeah, fishing is fun. That's a fun art.
Yeah, fishing is really cool. I draw a card. The net.
Sure, why not?
And that just says when anybody plays a program, you draw a card. That's nice.
Maybe I'm going to use that.
Yeah, you
soon.
could. Then I'll just do 2. Oh, yeah. To play a Trojan, I'll ping you for 1 damage, and I'll draw a card. And I'll pass. Floating 3 cards in hand.
Drawing 1?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
What's the other text on Arc?
The other text? For 3 fast, I can do Call of the Chrome.
Ew.
It doesn't exhaust her?
No. And you can
Oh,
only
wait,
do an ability once
okay,
per
so with
round.
the Oni... Oh, that does exhaust. Yeah, okay, yeah.
For sure.
So all cybernetic characters you control get +2/+0 for every cyberware attached to them until the end of the turn.
Including themselves.
Including themselves, and because she's not tapped.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You draw 2 from deck or just 1 so far?
I did 1 from deck.
Cool.
Then I'm going to think for a second. I'm going to take another 1 from the deck.
My margins are really low here on 2 health.
Cool. Okay. All right. Let's think.
Yeah.
Let's think a little bit. I probably should have done this differently. I'm going to deploy the plug.
The plug. Every piece of chip damage really hurts. So this is 1 to search your deck for a drug. I think you have 1 more drug in your deck. I think there's only 2 drugs. It's Kiwi, and then there's another
But I
one.
think there's multiple Kiwis.
Yeah, there's like 2 Kiwis maybe?
So I am going to use it now.
Yeah, sure. Hold on, do I respond?
Do you respond? You let me know.
No, I'm good.
Drug. Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. 15 Psychosis.
Yeah, I know. What's the
it-
name? That's the special
It's called
one.
Red Line.
Yeah, I think that's like a rare card or something. 15 Psychosis, but it gives you like +700.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty bad. I mean, what's the chance?
Why
man?
would I... It's... What? Okay. I like that drugs have their own symbol.
Yeah.
But I wish I had someone who just searched for cyberware. That'd be helpful.
Yeah, weirdly you don't.
Yeah, I'll pull in Megaroids
Sure.
to my hand.
That does give you Psychosis 5,
Give me Fight Psychosis 5.
depending on who you put it on.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Combat time.
I didn't want to cut, it's fine.
Good. I wasn't going to let you cut.
Yeah.
Combat time.
I'm just gonna tap this really quickly, but you do.
Yeah,
it too.
I know. I'm aware that. So there's 2 of those. Destroy all attacking characters.
Do the colors on the cards matter? Is it just flavor? I don't know. I honestly
we don't know yet.
I think Megaroids is colored this way because it is Kiwi Crush, but like.
Yeah,
I
but
do
there's
think
some
it's
character
factional.
cards
'Cause,
that
like,
are
The plug has 2
blue
symbols
and some
on
character
it.
cards that are yellow.
So this is it's cybernetic junky. So I think purple is junky, blue is cybernetic, but I don't know if that's consistent. It's hard to tell. These seem to be like the neutral cards, but they're yellow, but they also are actually factions. So I genuinely don't know. Kieran, find the flavor to be a little sauceless. I don't mind it. I think it's kind of cool.
And I'm also going to deploy another character.
By the way, Mila, I didn't say hi. I know it's an embedded part of cyberpunk, but a genre space at this point. But I don't like the psychosis mechanic, in terms of like the theme, or in terms of the way that plays out. Because the name psychosis, like, yeah, people can have strong opinions about that. I kind of do.
Okay, moving on to combat phase.
Yeah, sorry, you played Dumpster Diver?
I played a Dumpster Diver.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah, she can return cybernetics from my discard pile to my hand.
That seems good.
So I'm going to System Shock.
What does that do?
Does 1 damage to all your characters.
Okay, so you're threatening to, after that, to attack with a Dumpster Diver.
Mhm.
The Dumpster Diver can do 1 damage.
It'll do a pittance.
Being on 1 health is not great. 1 damage. Let me just like peek at my trap cards, okay? Oh, that's good. That's good. Do you have any running ram?
I've got no running ram, actually. I can't even respond if you do anything.
Yeah, that's good.
It's nuts. I definitely had a different way I've gone about this, but that's fine.
I'll respond by
Please.
spending 2 on my admin to run a ram. And then it dies.
And then it dies. Yeah, and then I declare attackers.
For
Dumpster
1?
Divers attacking for 1.
I'll respond.
With 1, Memory Leak. If all of opponents is committed or deal 4 damage. What?
Yeah, and this one doesn't cost a fire.
Oh, okay. Well, I take 4 damage.
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just working on it slowly.
Yeah, sure.
And I take 1.
You take 1 damage.
All right, we're as low as can go. I only have 1 here. You have 1, 2, 3. So you actually have a pretty big number there. It's all good?
Okay, it's all good. Back to you.
Okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have to draw. First, I'll draw from deck. I have to do 8 damage to you.
Easy.
Second, I'll draw.
You've got 9. You can probably do it, actually.
Yeah, maybe.
I've got no defenses.
The problem is I want a deja vu for another turn, but it it just ends me.
Yeah, that'd be.
But like this would be a really good turn, but I just do like all my chip damage.
Yeah,
like
that
this
would be
deck
great.
has a really cool play pattern. Oh.
What's the matter?
Oh, you're cooked.
No.
Yeah.
I figured.
Yeah, you're cooked.
I left myself too vulnerable. I should have.
think so.
I should have been more patient.
I'll play 3.
Mhm.
Check out this shit. This card is so absurd.
It does 8 damage. Oh, Cortex Crab. Take control of target character opponent controls. To end turn, refresh it and its abilities to attack deals zap damage instead of any other kind of damage.
Yeah, I'll play that.
Yeah, sure.
That's mine now. I'll play 2.
Okay.
For a tagger. Sorry, that goes underneath it.
Mhm.
I have 3 here.
Cortex Crab is actually peak. I'm a big fan of Cortex Crab.
Cortex
already.
Crab is absurdly powerful.
It's absurdly powerful. I'm just a big fan of its existence as
Yes.
a lore item.
What's so funny, so one of the matches I played with Maddie, she played her biggest card, which was a massive elephant. And my only way to deal with that to her big creatures is control them for 1 turn. Elephant doesn't have a head jack.
It doesn't have a head jack. You
I
can't,
can't
jack
crab it,
You can't
yeah.
jack a crab into the elephant. Just as in nature.
Oh wait, this only does 7, so I have to just play a spell. Yeah. 2 for fishing.
Okay.
Order here was a bit scuffed. That's fine. So this is going to do 1 damage to you. And I can look at your hand. Get rid of the big guy.
Thank you, big guy.
I draw a card.
Mhm.
Oh, I drew the best card. Fuck. I'll attack for 7.
Okay, 6 + 1. That is sufficient.
Yo, that was a close
That's the
game.
game.
That was actually a really good game.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my ace up my sleeve that I just drew on the turn that you're really threatening me, but I was short 1, literally 1 ram, and just to prevent all damage this turn. Which I think we both, no, I have to have one of these because it has a requirement.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think I've been checking for the requirement, but I'm pretty sure I had the requirement because a lot of my cards have the requirement. It's such an easy thing to miss, but
Cortex Trap had a requirement, but you already had the environment out.
Yeah, the environment counts. This environment drew me a lot of cards. Yeah, you have to play your environment.
I didn't draw max gains until late.
yeah.
I would have done that. I feel like I wasn't respecting the fact that you still had a handful of cards, and I left myself completely open.
Yeah,
and it's very easy to see how 9 RAM can transfer into 7
very
damage
quickly.
Yeah.
The Psychosis might have just cooked you there, but the fact that
well, Psychosis was pretty rough actually. Psychosis was
Yeah. If their Psychosis went through, I'm dead. That is way too much damage. Oh, maybe make sure these. I'm also surprised these cards don't have different card backs because I don't think they will ever enter the same deck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I had another fatal and a redirect.
I figured there's one of these hanging around.
The thing is, like the redirect, if you attack me, I
that
can't
one,
really
yeah.
change it. I can change who you're attacking, but like I can't make you attack yourself. So I think it just hits ability. So I can make you duel yourself, which is like kind of funny. But the fact that these playstyles of the decks are actually so different, like you have to be worried about cards in hand, you have to be worried about chip damage, and I have to be worried about big people hitting the table, and I have to be able to clear them somehow. You just want to hold both of them for like
you're
a
at 20.
pretty long time. Yeah, draw's tight. Draw's cool. Hey, Roshni. The all characters have haste does seem a bit snowbally. It kind of does, Matthias, but the difference is that when your characters are destroyed, you get all your RAM back. So if Pat commits to like 2 big characters, he will functionally go into next turn with at most 2 RAM, and that is the balancing mechanism. I agree. It means that having an open board state will snowball. If I just pass, like after Bob exploded, Pat could have done like 15 damage to me, it turns out, and that's a problem. But it does have you that comeback. Yeah, could have. Did actually.
That one worked out, but
that one worked.
Usually doesn't.
I missed start. How's the game? The game's kind of interesting. I like a lot of the parts of it. It is a TCG, which like I want to be very clear at the top is a non-starter for some, but it's neat. It has some really cool ideas. You want to try again?
Yeah, I do. I'm just going to use the washroom real quick.
Yeah, dude, I'm just taking obviously your mic off. Do you want to swap sides, or are you cool to keep slugging?
I'm going to keep slow.
Okay.
Actually.
Yeah. Yeah, it's neat. Again, it's on Kickstarter. It's for 4 more days. I don't know if you don't get it on Kickstarter if you can't get it, but we're just playing the demo decks, and that demo decks have just been a fun enough time. I think all the games that I played with my partner have been like close games and have had a lot of interesting decision points. There's definitely some cool ideas. I feel a bunch of, not the art, I generally like the art. I feel like some of the card templating is sometimes a bit hard to read. Like I can't read Pat's cards that easily. Even when I pull it up on the monitor, it's kind of hard to read. And there's some like color blindness stuff that could be an issue. But I like just how different these decks are, and they still feel like they can interact with each other, which is kind of a neat thing. This is the card that I drew that, oh my god, I drew it until last turn, and I have never had this hit the table. There's 2 7-cost cards in this deck. One of them gives you another turn, but it took 3 damage on both types, so I couldn't play it. But this card is so fascinating. It is massive as a 1/6, and it just says that Ram loses all function on my side of the table. Now, if this is destroyed, then suddenly you enter the sort of like, what is it called? Stability check issues, where then you suddenly have characters that don't have enough RAM underneath them, so you have to feed them your RAM. If they don't get enough RAM, you have to do this like pseudopsychosis check. But I want to hit the table with the singularity, and then once the singularity hits the table, you can become such a ridiculous deck, where if you have the net on the table, every time you play a spell, you draw a card. This is whenever, right? Yeah. And then you can become like a full combo wizard deck like Flesh and Blood and just do everything all at once. If you can get this thing down and survive, because then obviously you're just gated by card draw. And this goes fast. Oh, this is only characters. Never mind. Play all characters and activate abilities cost 0. So actually, no, programs still cost money. So unless you do the ability on the singularity. Yeah. I think pins to equip mechanics could be rather cumbersome on many board states. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're meant to do with the pins when you're meant to exhaust cards. Like, this comes up in a lot of other games. Like I play Doomtown, and Doomtown has equipment attached to people. The equipment is not like it goes on a certain side of the character, but like tapping like this is maybe a bit much, but I feel like you can come. Oh, wait, I had a glare right there. Hold on 1 second. That light is not meant to be on. Apologies if there's glare on the cards in the middle. That's way better. I should have caught that sooner. Does singularity also destroy the committed RAM? I believe it does. It just wipes all of your RAM. But then cards cost 0, so there's functionally not an issue. Yeah, apology to the glare. Oh, I think we're still good. Yeah. You're gonna need that one real quick. What is this game? Call me. Apologies if I'm saying your name incorrectly. It's called Neuroscape TCG. It's kickstarted TCG. It's a cyberpunk kind of like dude basher. This is not sponsored. We just got the demo decks in the mail for free. The folks I've been talking to are quite nice. They said do whatever you want with this. So we did a stream. I like a lot of parts of this game. Definitely not replacing Netrunner. I hope that's very clear, as much as people might log into the video and be like shill and dislike and all that sort of stuff. It's okay. I just thought a lot of people might want to see some of the mechanics here and then decide what they want to do with that.
Yeah, and I think showing off new card games is kind of it's in the interest of the community in general. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm always so fascinated. If someone says I have a new card game, do you want to play it? The answer is always yes.
Yeah,
always yes,
for sure.
Okay, let's do it the way that I think maybe makes more sense. Let's high roll first, and then the person who chooses to go. So like, this is the issues. The mulligan is not prescribed, so I can wait for you to mulligan to see how hard I should mulligan. So in theory, I think we should roll first. That person mulligans first, then decides to go first or second, and then I mulligan.
But who is the advantage player between first and second?
Unclear. It probably depends on the deck.
Yeah.
And on your hand.
And
if you have a mana dork
hand,
on turn 1 that you can play on turn 1, I think it advantages you.
Yeah.
So I think you should see your hand, mulligan, then decide to go first or second.
Okay.
So let's high roll.
Sure.
17.
Now I'm rolling high.
Yeah. So we'll try 5. I'll try any card game at least once, yeah. And I was surprised how much my partner enjoyed this, because this did not seem like her sort of thing. I think we gave her this deck, and this was clearly not her thing. She liked this a fair bit, which makes sense. I could tell from her playstyle. It's like mana energy and other TCGs, but playing a character locks the RAM until it dies. Yeah, I think that's a cool system.
Yeah, it's a cool card, but absolutely not going to play it.
I got my shiny.
Expensive. Okay. Yeah, sorry. So I won.
Yeah, so you
I'm
can
deciding if I want to
first
mulligan
and
first,
then decide to go first or second. That's what we're saying. That's not the rules as written.
Okay, I will mulligan first.
Yeah. And the mulligan goes on the bottom of your deck. I'm not going to keep this. probably should keep a 1/1. Nah, I don't like that 1/1.
See, okay, so let's talk this out. I have nothing I can play on turn 1 no matter what.
Yeah.
Whether I have 1 or 2 ramp. Is it better for me to go first or second?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right, I'm gonna go first then.
Okay. I'm gonna mulligan. Hold on. So you're going first? Is this one of my cards? I'm assuming this is one of my cards. Yeah, that's my card. That's a cool card. Go ahead.
Oh, you think you?
I drew a cyberware and I was confused.
Oh, okay, you have cyberware.
I have cyberware.
Well, I know you have one freaking head crab.
Yeah. Ask questions to all wondering how various mechanics of the game work. Watch the stream. And no, please ask questions for sure. Ask all the questions you can. Love questions. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of what this stream is about.
Yeah.
Also, if you ask questions, that might lead us to realize that we're playing it wrong.
Yeah.
So,
there's no reality where Andre discourages questions. That is exactly the
yeah, unfortunately, we do live in a reality where I discourage questions. Yeah. Remember, if you have a question you think is dumb, let us tell you if it's dumb.
Oh, no.
We will.
There's a diesel equivalent. I have a binary blast.
That's cute.
Yeah, it doesn't do diesel, but it is. Try not to be mean. It's the standard stuff if you know MTG. Yeah, Alice. I don't think there's anything incredibly surprising. I don't think it came off as mean.
Yeah. I think MTG people would be surprised how many people play Magic without ever having played MTG. Kind of like in the, like, a lot of people come to Netrunner. Did I say Netrunner?
You said Magic. That was why I was confused.
That'll be it, yeah. Because a lot of people have found Netrunner without, like, going through MTG and realizing, I want to try another TCG.
People come in from board games more than card games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Similar with the TTRPG space, like, obviously D&D is the one everyone knows. So most people, well, at least in like North America, they go towards D&D and then find something else. But more and more people are finding like, oh yeah, well, at school we were doing like a Blades in the Dark is another popular one right now. So people do that. So there's more and more people coming in through like the indie space or through board games.
Cool. Man, I don't tabletop role play, as you know, but I go to the board game store and see the nice books.
The books are so nice.
Oh my God.
They're some of the most beautiful books that humanity has ever printed.
Shit.
All right, well, I'm going to go first.
Yeah, so no attacks and you only draw 1 card.
So I'm going to draw 1, ram, and back to you.
Okay, so full pass. I will do... I'm going to do 2 ram. So no cards. I'm going to commit 1 ram to a mana dork. And I could use that ability immediately, but I'm short the 2 ram. I'll pass.
I'd be curious to try Lancer one of these days. It's one that I've been curious about for a while.
That's an RPG?
The thing is, like, I already had a Wild Sea game planned for like a year. And then Quinn's comes out with a video, and now I look like I'm a frickin' poser who only does what Quinn's tells me to do.
Whenever I buy a board game and then Shut Up and Sit Down plugs it, and then you look at my board game collection that still has such a big overlap, I'm like, no, one was first.
No, I was there before it was cool. Yeah, please.
Like that shit's important.
Okay.
Lancer's amazing.
What do you do? Until return.
I'm not going to play around your cards. Please, for the sake of the stream, you can tell the name of the card.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, when I'm looking at my cards in hand, I'm looking at, well, first of all, I've got Redline, which is the drug that gives me plus 15 psychosis.
Yeah, that's a rare card.
So, no thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, Redline, for your service. I will not be using you. If I were to build my own one of these, I would never put psychosis in it, but it's fun for this. It's fun for this, like,
it forces you into it.
But it is not at all the way I want to play my games.
I would play the cyberware that just gives you stat boosts, not psychosis. And it would still be fine, I imagine.
Yeah, it's probably it's frankly consistent.
Yes, I'm okay with consistent.
When Sable first came out, when the Mark mechanic first came out, I was one of the people who was kind of negative about it.
Me too.
I don't want rolling dice in my Netrunner game.
Yeah.
But it's really kind of leveled out into something that I actually quite enjoy. Yes.
But the idea is like how to make the
how to make the best
bad outcome.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, psychosis, the bad outcome is just bad.
Yeah, because I also play like Summoner Wars, which is big, like dice rolling and drawing. Like there's multiple layers of randomization, but it is about responding to a bad situation.
Yeah. So you have a chance to lose the game. The thing is, like, again, this did slightly matter, but if Pat does physical damage to himself, I can't do more physical damage. So it's matchup context.
I'm gonna summon. I'm gonna deploy the Iron Maiden.
Cool.
Yeah.
What'd she do? 2 4s, big numbers.
2 4s feels fine. She's kind of defensive.
Thrasher.
Machina Mortis.
Yeah.
Instant effect for 2. Until end of turn, Iron Maiden gets +2/+0. And if she deals combat damage to a character, you may deal 2 damage to another target character.
That's cool.
That's pretty cool.
I do like a frame break.
I do love a frame.
I do like a frame break.
I love a frame. I love a flame break.
Yeah. That's only if you defeat a character, not if you attack me.
If I damage a character.
Damage a character. Okay, cool. And if she damages a character,
if
you damage a character.
Correct.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Great. Born in the clinical cold of a laboratory, this former Yakuza enforcer now walks on a razor's edge as an undercover agent for the family.
The family.
Family owned and operated.
Are you going to attack?
Yeah, I'll deploy. I'll declare her an attacker.
I'll take 2.
Good.
It's me?
Yep.
I'll just take 2 RAM, and I think I'll hard pass.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not going to attack?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I will...
You can get to 50. In theory, Psychosis 10 is like 49% or whatever. It's like slightly better than 50.
I will draw one
right?
from here. Sorry, what was that?
You win on 10 out of... But you lose on 9 out of 20. Yeah, so it's slightly better than 50. You win on 11 out of 20.
And I'll do one of these.
Yeah?
I'm going to deploy... Oh no! That woman with the gun has another gun!
Oh, 2 guns!
Which means I'm up to 2.
No, this one is not typed. That's just neutral gun.
Okay.
Literally prepaid
Okay, so
voice
the
pad.
cybernetics.
But this is not a cybernetic. Like, this is a cyberware, but it's not a cybernetic. Right?
Yeah, okay,
Anyone
yeah.
can own a gun.
No, I understand. Yeah, okay. Thematically, I understand this now.
Yeah.
But also, does this mean that all the cybernetics that are part of the cybernetic faction are the ones that cause psychosis?
Yeah, they're body mods.
Oh no!
Yeah, you're in a bad spot.
Ah!
Yeah, +2. So coming in for 4. I'm just gonna uncover the art if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna attack.
Okay, so that's for 4.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's the life I live.
Okay.
Anything else before you go to refresh or reset?
Nothing else from me. Thank you very much.
So I'll fast run the admin to do 1. Is that cool?
You may.
Cool.
I'll allow it.
All right, and then I'll go to my ready. Okay. So I need a blocker, but that is 4 health, which is quite an issue.
Yeah. Lamilla, I asked that too. Like, there's no like therapist character who says like, "Hey, let's tone it down."
I know.
But at least not in the starter decks.
Yeah.
Like, I think the starter decks are maybe meant to like show like full force. Does like that's the kind of thing that you start deck building with.
Yes.
I don't think that's what these are about.
The other factions, I don't think I know all of them. Thrasher is a thing that's like Anarch, kind of like the punk rock faction. Their main like heroic cards are like band members, from my understanding.
Cool.
One of them's Corpo, which is just like people with their feet up at desks, and they like
Love that,
leverage
yeah.
big money, which I would really want to play. One of them I think is like militarized kind of like police units. I do think you might have one overlap card in your deck. And then there's one that's like kind of mystical that has like tarot cards, which are actually programs that have modular effects.
Neat.
And depending on the side the card's on, like it basically has text. And then it says at a certain threshold, change this word to a different word. So instead of counter X card, it says counter any card.
Yeah.
Or instead of it says delete a program, it says delete a character, which is kind of cool.
Neat.
But we don't have those.
Yeah, the other thing is like, at least for the cybernetics, like most cybernetic things I've encountered say like, if the character this is played on is cybernetic themselves, psychosis is lessened, but it's still present.
Still a problem.
And it's still a problem, as we discussed earlier.
Yeah. It's an interesting effect and it seems extremely swingy in a way I don't like. I rolled a D9 and lost. I don't think you're going to be the first person to say that or the last person to say it. I do agree. I do want to say that if Pat takes physical damage in this matchup, it's less important, but you also just whiff the activation, which is easily less important or more important. I'm going to do 1 from deck. That's a card I want to play. I don't think I can. I'll do 1 from RAM.
Who doesn't these days?
I'll run 2 RAM to just give you a little problem.
No.
So there's a Trojan there. I might show up.
But that's my favorite.
I'll pass. Floating 3. So the most expensive Trojans to fire are 2. So I'm threatening that.
I'm going to draw 1 from here.
Maybe it's faction for super casual. Yeah, this seems like these are the super casual decks for sure.
Yeah, like that's kind of, that often is how it ends up.
I know you can go on YouTube and see like gameplay on TTS from Alpha where people are playing this at a high level for constructed play. I haven't seen enough of that to see like how alien this looks to like, you know, focused play. Probably it is. I imagine some of these cards see no play. I assume there's stuff outside of the demo decks with more that do more psychosis. Yes. This game doesn't, I don't think in Kickstarter they have a like a Netrunner DB equivalent where they show you every card. I don't know if they're doing that intentionally or not, but the marketing material I have for the cards to bring up are barely more than the cards in the demo decks. There's a couple more, but I'd have to figure out their names.
So I'm gonna
Oh no, that's really bad.
Max Gains, which is my
environment.
My environment is also the gym I go to. All my characters have stamina, which basically means they do not exhaust to...
All characters have stamina.
All characters have stamina.
Including mine.
Which is fine, because I think my characters tend to be beefier.
Yes.
I hope.
Yes.
Anyway,
but it means everyone can swing for chip damage. It's just literally chip damage the faction.
So when it comes to the combat phase, I'm going to declare her as an attacker. I'm aware they have a thingy.
I will. I'll do 2 for a fatal error.
Okay.
So that just destroys all attackers. Do you have a thing?
I do not have a thing.
Okay.
That's fine. She'll be back.
She'll be back. Oh, I can't use my admin. That's fine. Pass to me. So this still counts as 1. So it's I will... I need to get a board state. I can start chipping you though, which is nice. I'll do 1
board
from
state's
deck.
overrated.
I did that in the wrong order. Then I'll do one from here.
Mhm.
Cool.
I'd also like it if, kind of like with how the mark mechanic works or some other randomized things, it's like sometimes there's a benefit to going over psychosis.
Yes, if you
Like,
can go full psychosis.
Like if there's like, oh yeah, like yes, you take damage, but also you draw X cards, or like things that make psychosis kind of like a risk reward thing. And
core
like,
damage.
Yeah,
it's like
core,
it is a downside, but
yeah,
it
exactly.
actually
Like
can work.
I want to play this game's finality.
Yeah. So this is a Wonderland hacker. So there's apparently a Wonderland faction to some extent. A lot of them are like rabbit themed cards.
Cool.
So Nova is a 2/3. As an action, I can exhaust to draw a card from my deck. I can also exhaust and spend 2 to search your cyber deck for a rabbit card, a Wonderland card, or a hacker card. Reveal it, put it in your hand, but then Nova gets shuffled away. Now, luckily, because of max gains, full send for 3.
Damn it.
I have synergy here. I will. Should I play another card? Actually, maybe I should have played another card if you don't mind.
I'd love it if you did.
Yes. I'll spend 3. Oh no, do I want my ramp? I'm gonna throw in my ramp in my card draw, so I'll pass.
Okay. Right, I refresh. I'm
really
going
pass
to
judgment too hard if I don't have the card pull.
draw
I've only seen
one.
half of one game. Yeah. How do you tap the cards with mods attached? Just rotate everything? Yeah, you can just tap the center card. Technically, the abilities on the mods themselves do not care because the text, like on Riot Blade, to exhaust it is given to the character they're attached to. So as long as you exhaust the character, you don't actually have to exhaust the attachments.
one of these.
You did 1 and 1?
1 and 1.
Oh no, Pat takes blue damage. My cards only attack for blue damage.
I gave myself physical damage.
Oh yeah, he did wrong. Yeah, thank you.
So 1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Thank you. That's the mainframe damage. Good catch.
Yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, I'm going to deploy Freya, Rogue Valkyrie.
This is the Matthias Kalza, I think.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
She has an ability. I can instant speed do 2 damage to up to 2 different target characters.
Fuck.
Oh, that's.
You have 2 RAM? Yeah.
I do have 2 RAM. That's
4/6?
She's a
The heck am I
4/6.
meant to do with that?
She seems quite powerful for 4.
Yeah.
Like what? Maybe the best 4 drop I've seen.
Mech is the other
Yeah.
militarized subtype.
A former member of the classified Valkyrie program, Freya leaves a scorched sky in her wake.
Okay, I need to double check the rules, but I'm pretty sure if you exhaust with Freya, I don't think an exhausted card can fire their abilities. I'd have to double check. I know even though that doesn't cause Freya to exhaust, I think you have to do that before you attack. I could be wrong. I'd have to double check that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to do it now.
Okay.
Exhaust these 2 to do 2 damage to this and this.
Okay, so I'm going to, in response, use the admin. Is that cool?
Yeah, it's fine.
So I'll
it's
run around. And then Nova will take 2.
Okay.
So this will be healed at the end of the turn. But this is deleted, and this goes back to my RAM bank running.
I'll declare Freya as the attacker.
Yeah.
4.
I will take 4. Them not exhausting is a real piece of shit. You go to end of your phase?
That's the end of my phase. Back to you.
First, on your turn, I'll exhaust Nova and spend 1 to draw.
Okay. Fine by me.
6. Okay, cool. Already, the skills. I think it's all clear damage from characters. Yeah, so it's not just friendly characters; it's all characters. So.
Oh, really? At the end of that makes sense. Like it's not something the game wants to keep track of. I think.
Exactly. Yeah.
Freya seems good. I want to play a mech faction.
Yeah. Freya
they don't go crazy. They don't turn on me.
Yeah. Well, you can attach cybernetics. The ports are good. Like it kind of wants you to.
Yeah, I think so.
How do I get out of this? I have 5. Wait, what did you say about Freya?
What do you mean? What did I say about Freya?
You said something cool about Freya. Did you say something cool about Freya?
Did I say something cool about Freya?
Yeah. What was your favorite thing about Freya?
She's a mech.
Yeah. There was something else you said. It's okay. It'll come up again.
Okay, interesting. What did I say? She's a 4/6. She can do damage to multiple characters.
I'll draw from here 1.
She's the best 4-drop I've seen so far. Oh, I see. We're about to see a better 4-drop.
All right, I'm going to do 1 for an admin. So Mana Dork.
Great.
And then I'm going to spend 3 to give you a little problem. Sorry about your head.
Okay. Oh, no.
I'm still at
I have
2.
Psychosis 15.
Yeah, and you have to attack.
And I cannot force quit.
You can't force quit this. You can force quit Freya.
Oh.
Yeah. I had to message the rules because the rules don't describe well what control means. Because in theory, I control this card and I own this card, even though it's on your side.
Yeah. Okay.
I did attach a cyberware, though, which kind of matters for your text.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
Lumino, thanks for dropping by. I will
Ugh.
Yeah, I'll pass.
Okay. Let's think about this.
Actually, I'm not gonna play the admin. Is that okay?
Fine.
Because it's bad into this.
Okay. I'm gonna think.
Yeah.
For a minute.
So I only have one fire starter.
Combat phase. Do I force quit? Or do I frickin' go for it?
What's really funny is I could attack with Nova and you could choose to block, but then you have to do Psychosis and you can fail the block.
Failing the block.
Yeah.
I know, I'm force quitting.
Yeah, that makes sense. The ram comes back running.
Yep. Problem from the top first. One of these bad boys.
It seems like a much worse game for our protagonist over here and the hacker seat. This max gains is messed up. You can force quit this, by the way, if you want.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's revisit a character we saw last time.
Yeah.
Her name is Arc. Circuit Breaker.
Right.
And let's see what I'm going to do about this. So I'm up to 2 now.
Yep. We have our 2 cards. This is iconic, which means you only have 1 on the table, but you can have up to 4 in your deck, I think is the limit.
Oh, iconic is down there, yeah.
Yeah, it's the uniqueness clause.
So she's not iconic?
No, apparently not.
Okay.
But I think you're meant to have a lot of rabbit cards because they're all like super synergistic. The Wonderland cards search for other Wonderland cards.
Okay. Maybe I want to leave some of these around. Yeah, let's move on to the combat phase, where I will declare her as an attacker.
Okay.
Hey, crayons.
For 6? Oh, for 6, that's a lot.
An amount equal to 6 damage, which is a wild amount of money. Damage? Damage is what I do. This is not Netrunner. This is Neuroscape, open parentheses, the Pina Colada song, close parentheses.
It's Neuroscape. It's a TCG. It's on Kickstarter for like 4 more days. We're not sponsored. We're just playing this for fun because we got the demo decks. It's neat. It has some neat stuff in it for sure. I don't think I can block with Nova. I think I just have to take 6.
Of course you can block with Nova.
No, I'm not doing that.
Why are you not blocking with Nova? That's absurd.
5, 6. I don't know.
What are you holding on to so badly that you can go down to 4 health?
Just draws a card. Draws a card.
Okay.
I don't know if my deck has good enough cards to like search with this because I don't know the deck to be like if there's a Nova card or a hacker card that would really save me here.
Sure.
That's it.
That's it.
I'll use Nova to draw a card, and then I'll go to my upkeep. So I'm on 6. I don't have the magic skill where people like move their cards really elegantly in groups. One day. Probably not.
Yeah.
Who am I kidding?
Yeah. They have these weird wrist muscles.
I'm gonna draw
able to rotate things around.
And then I'm gonna go for Ram, I think.
Okay.
So she AoE's 1, right?
Yep.
And that's fast. Like you can do that on my turn.
Oh, it's fast.
Like that really stops me
You got
from
no
playing
idea how
once.
fast it is.
That's actually really bad.
I know.
Spend 3. I'll play Black Hat.
Hey.
Oops.
Another 2/3.
Blocking taps here? Sorry?
Yeah,
Can you
blocking
block
taps.
before damage? Yes, yeah. You can choose to block, but it taps, and they both trade damage.
The 1 corruption counter. Oh, this one, yeah. 1 corruption counter. Cool. Colonel Panic.
Colonel Panic. That's my father's name. I'm gonna pass.
Colonel Failure.
Yeah, Colonel Failure. That's massive. I'm on 2, which means that anytime I play a Trojan or Hacker program, I ping for 1.
Colonel Failure is one of the card names from ONR that I'm like just waiting for the right ice to slap that on.
Do you know what it was in the game? It was like this.
It was like 3. Oh, it was like a massive tank with a massive long
I think
rifle,
it was like a
right?
Barrett, like a huge sniper rifle.
Oh, it's a sniper rifle? Okay.
I think so.
Anyway, it does like 3 trash program and then end the run.
It's disgusting.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Massive.
Yeah. So I'm like waiting until we get many trash programs on one ice.
Yeah. The attack didn't tap because environment, exactly, yeah. So max gains is in play for both players, which means people don't tap it to attack. Which means I could attack here, but then if you block to exhaust, I will lose a character and then this will
refresh
ready.
on my next turn, yeah.
I'm not very good at this sort of like blocker math and these sort of games. If you ever see me play World Breakers, you know I'm ass at this, but so far it seems okay.
Is my turn?
Yeah, it can be.
Sorry. Yeah, okay. Let me see. Let's do 2 of these.
Oof, that's bad. And this is the mechanism. If Pat plays a big character, doesn't have a lot of RAM.
I'm going to deploy...
Stop it. Go ahead.
I'm going to deploy the Back Alley Bruisers. I've got no free RAM right now. They can duel for 1 and
oh, we have no RAM.
I have no RAM right now.
That seems good.
Yeah. I'm going to declare them both as attackers.
So if I don't block, I die.
If you
I have to block both of them.
Both, or find some other way of dealing with them right now.
Yeah, so I think I have to. So first thing I'm going to do, so one's attacking for 6, one's attacking for, okay. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tap 3 to overload Mark 2.
Ooh.
So I think Mark 1, 2, and 3 are all in the deck. Oh, is this 2 or 3?
This is 2.
Okay.
So you have 4 damage to a target opponent's, yeah.
So I'm going to target Circuit Breaker.
She has and then 1 health left.
Firestarter, we'll do the last one.
Ooh, okay.
Because I have enough synergy.
Yeah, and I guess there's no reason to use her fast ability here, because I wouldn't. You know, I will, just to do 1 damage to all your characters.
Legit?
Who knows?
Legit?
I don't know.
Okay. So that clears that off. Then I will declare blockers. So I'll declare blocker with Black Cat.
Mm-hmm.
So I will respond. I can't respond. Yeah, I'll just take the damage.
Okay. You're trashed. I take 2. I'm still alive.
Yep. I'm still alive, importantly.
Yeah, and you're still alive. Everybody's alive.
Yeah.
End of my turn. Refresh.
I will draw for 1. Yep. Ooh, holding on there.
Yeah, these back alley bruisers are...
Gains is messed up.
They're getting some total gains.
Yeah, okay. So now I'm on 7.
I think you can only 1v1 the blocking.
No, you can multi to 1.
Oh, really? Okay.
Should I multi to 1? No, you can multi to 1. Oh, maybe I should have multi to 1. And trade board state? Yeah, I drew my card though. Yeah, I could have multi to 1 actually. That's probably, and you decide how to distribute the damage, but they'll still all die. That might have been right.
Hey,
yeah, do you mind if I multi for 1?
Okay, so let's wind it back. So
I'm not going to pay 1 for this. This I'll just shuffle back in, I guess. And so I'll block with this. So they're both blocking.
Okay.
And I had
so
one
what happens?
floating.
Can we put Black Cat just on the board for a
sure.
second? So they're both blocking.
Yeah. So basically I'm doing 4 damage to your character, and you're doing 6 damage to my characters. Choose how you distribute.
Oh, so I will split it up the best way.
They're always going to die.
Cool.
But I get all this back.
And I get all this back.
Yeah. Yo, Joel, how's it going? It is Neuroscape TCG. I lose all my affinity or whatever it's called. You're on 1 affinity, which at least helps me a bit. Okay. Yeah, that was way better. I forgot you can multi-block. We haven't been blocking that much. Okay, so here I need to draw cards.
Oh yeah, it's your turn now.
Yes.
Damn it.
Yeah. Oh, this is all ran.
A board wipe happening on my turn sucks.
It sucks. This is all rando. So I'll draw 1 from here. 1 from here. Okay.
But can you do 17 damage?
No.
Faster than I can do 4 damage.
I'll spend 2 for the Phantom OS.
Hello.
This gives me 1 affinity. Search your cyber deck for a virus or Trojan, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle. That's a useful ability. I will play another cheap friend. It's the admin, the mana dork. I now have 2 hackers, so we've hit the affinity status. So with max gains, I can just full send with, you know.
You can full send and then use them.
Yeah. I will spend 3 on the Digital Spectre.
God damn. Wait, this is new.
Yeah, we haven't seen this one yet. It's pretty good with max gains, I'll be honest. It's a 1/1, but when it attacks, it does 2 extra damage. And you can cheat it around blockers. It's a bit of a ghost.
Neat. But this is also a lot of 1/1s, and I've got many ways of damaging.
Yeah, my 1/1s I've had to hold in hand.
Yeah.
They were pretty bad. I will spend 2 to Phantom OS, just to try and keep you in check.
Is there a tabletop tourney for this tomorrow? I am not, but if it's being streamed anywhere or there's going to be a VOD, let us know.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Especially I want to see a VOD because I have no idea what the rules are for constructing.
Yeah, like I'm interested in seeing what the next level of play is for this, for sure.
Virus or Trojan? I think I'm just going to have to keep you honest.
Also, Powers, if you know things about the game we don't, please feel free to educate us.
Yeah. We've only played a handful of games. I'm going to grab the Fatal Error. Okay. Makes sense, right?
Yep. Yeah, I haven't seen any like enter the battlefield effects either, but you're right. Like a lot of these have tap to do something abilities that are kind of equivalent of that. So.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna put this into my hand and shuffle my hand really cool. Like,
ooh, interesting. Okay, okay.
And then I'm gonna play for 2.
Oh no.
You take 1 damage. And then I'm gonna attack for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'll pass to you.
Gross.
They stay ready because of max gains. I am tapped out though, so I might not be able to fire this.
Okay, draw from here.
That might be a problem.
Draw from here.
Yeah, I do think they have a TTS mod. The chances, there's a chance that TTS doesn't have like the modern Kickstarter stuff. I know there's a TTS mod that has their alpha stuff with like AI art. That is, some of the cards are the same. But I'm assuming if they're playing a tournament, it should be the new cards, right? I haven't seen either Enter the Battlefield effects. Yeah, I haven't seen Battle Cry, but because they don't come in with summoning sickness, that's what Pat says. You can just like immediately do them. They're playtesting, stress testing the starter decks for the Kickstarter. Tomorrow is the third event. Oh, super
Neat.
cool.
Oh, so it's a strictly starter deck tournament. I like
Sounds
that.
like it, yeah.
So I'm deploying a virtual kid. I'm deploying a Scrapper.
That is a Kalza, which is cool.
Yeah, one's a Kalza. This is a Zoranli.
So just a war 1/1s. As much as I'm on 4 health, so that seems like a bigger issue.
I'm going to use this to... That Scrapper's got a gun!
That Scrapper's
blam,
got a
blam, 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 blam. Which means Scrapper gets +3/+1.
Oh yeah, right.
Because I'm now at 3, yeah. So she's at 4 damage and
2 health.
2 health.
Let's just do this, I guess.
Sure. And am I going to do anything with my virtual kid? I might, honestly.
Yeah, you have to force blockers for me here.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll declare... Yeah, you got no run. I'll declare both as attackers.
Yeah, so you're attacking for... This is a 2 health?
Yep.
Do I just trade the board up again?
I mean, it's advantageous to you, which
yeah
drives me insane right now.
Yeah.
But all it means is I should have been doing this more carefully.
So I'll double block into this. I'll single block into the... do I block into the kid? Yeah, I guess I block into the kid. I lose my affinity. I want my affinity for chip damage. But I'll send the whole thing.
Okay, so we wipe each other out.
Unless you have any response.
No.
Okay, we wipe each other out. So my affinity goes down to 0, yours goes down to 1. Yeah, we're kind of in top deck mode now.
I have 6 left. Good.
Pass?
Pass.
All right, I'm ready. 1,
What you
2,
got for
3,
me?
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Singularity. Draw from deck. I'm exactly able to play Deja Vu. Draw from deck. Ooh, who's this guy? Can I win? None of my people have huge attack numbers, which is like stinky. Interesting. This is a iconic card. We haven't seen my iconic card. Very cool text. Deja vuing, it seems really strange. Okay, I'm gonna play my iconic card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is Hex Codemancer. So Hex is a 3/3. That's a pretty big body for the hackers, it turns out. I can tap it to play Trojan for 0. That only saves 2 energy or 2 RAM, which is fine. But for 3 in a tap, I can do DDoS attack, which does 2x the number of hacker affinity to my target opponent.
Oof.
In damage. So this is where you can set up pretty bursty. Yeah.
So that can quickly become at least 7 damage.
Can become 7 damage. It just taps it though, which means
you can attack and then tap it.
If I had enough small characters, you might be in a bad spot. I'm gonna spend, I think I need to spend more blockers. So I'll spend 2 on a deep diver. My affinity is now this many. Deep diver is move the hacker program from the bottom of the recycle bin to the top of the deck, just so we know what it is. It's another fatal error. That's kind of cool. Can't shuffle your discard pile. Definitely am one who's prone to do that. Then I will just full send for 4 because of max gains. Remember, you can shut this down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take 4.
And I'll pass holding 3, so I'm threatening the fatal error.
Right, but you're not using DDoS.
No, I want to threaten this.
Okay. No. My turn.
Yep.
Draw 1 top. Right, I didn't decide if I was going to...
There's no way you need more RAM, right?
I don't need more RAM. I'm deciding if I want to force quit.
Oh, yeah, if you want to force
quit. Oh, no, force quit happens after draw.
Oh, yeah, sick. Easy, easy, easy.
Oh. Oh.
Are we just trading haymakers?
They were just trading haymakers.
Yeah.
How many cards do you have in your hand?
4 of them.
And I know what one of them is.
Yeah.
No,
could be this one.
Right, but the other one is in your hand.
No, I haven't done it. It costs 1 and taps.
Oh, you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it's still here. Yeah, that's the deep diver.
Okay. Laser Saw Berserker.
I mean, that's probably an issue.
If block deals excess damage to the blocking character's controller. Okay.
That's a character. It's got a big number on it. Oh, it has overrun. That's an issue. Overrun is like trample?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could still force quit max gains, and maybe that is the thing.
It might be the play.
So I'm going to force quit max gains.
Sick. That's good. Yeah, you can overwrite your own current because I do
going
benefit from
to-
the current. Oh, slow down there.
Deploy the Laser Saw Berserker.
What's that thing do?
He's a guy with overrun. He has 6 attack.
Seems like a rare card. It's pretty shiny.
Yeah.
This is 1 affinity. So can you read the text? It's small for me.
Overrun says, if blocked, I deal excess damage to the blocking character's controller.
Yeah.
That's very good. And then also I have an ability that says, it's a fast ability for 2 RAM. Gain +2/+0 for every cybernetic card you control until end of turn. Then destroy Laser Saw Berserker at end of turn.
That's funny.
So I can boost him up
To
and
8.
just like deliver as much
Full send.
damage as possible. Of course, you do have something hidden there.
I think you have the cancel card. That's my guess.
Well, here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
That's Bob.
Oh, fuck.
So
Wait,
I
Bob
think-
just kill me?
Here's what I'm thinking is,
No, Bob doesn't kill me.
Bob kills you.
No.
Bob kills you.
No.
How does Bob not
If
kill
you try and fire Bob, I can code man's it. Because of the stack.
Okay, let me see. Target opponents.
Actually, not sponsored.
No,
No, we're just
how?
hanging out.
Can't damage him.
Oh my god, you're right. I can't damage Bob.
Okay, so I've got you forked, right? Like, so on my combat phase, I'll declare Laser Saw as the attacker.
Yeah. Yeah, for 6. Are you using Laser Saw's text?
No, because I might need to keep some of these around for Bob.
Oh, because you have 3.
Is this a 6?
No, this is fine. Well, you can still destroy Bob and I lose.
Yes.
I can't. I have to
Yeah.
be able to beat
So you
Bob.
have to spend 2 to destroy the Laser Saw,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
block with him and just go down to 1 hit point, which is fine by me.
Okay. Looks at hand.
Looks at hand.
Looks at table.
Looks at table.
Oh, the fact that you can do Codemancer fast to play a Trojan on your turn is kind of really cool. So
Oh, I
I'm
guess so,
going
yeah.
to do this. Wait, I
Okay.
think I have a chance out of this. Okay, so you're attacking with this for 8.
For 6.
Legit, for 6. So what I have to do
Mm-hmm.
is spend 2 to fire Fatal Error.
Okay.
Fatal Error 75 says destroy all attacking characters.
Okay.
I think I'm okay. Go ahead. I have to be very careful with Bob. I have to be very careful
Okay.
with
Okay.
Bob
So now what happens is
Yeah?
you can instant speed install a Trojan. Which
If I have a
do
Trojan,
1
we'll
damage
do
to Bob.
1 damage to Bob, which will happen before Bob blows up. I have to keep Bob on the stack pinned or I die.
Well, okay, hang on. If I knew that, if I had that in mind,
Yeah.
there's something absolutely absurd that I could do.
Yeah.
But I can't afford to do it. So it's probably good that I'm not gonna do that.
I like the stack in this game. It's kind of cool.
Oh man.
I genuinely think the stack is sick.
Okay, so as soon as I trigger Bob,
I can't believe I have to pin down a little bomb.
but I don't know for sure if you have a
no,
Trojan.
I might not have a Trojan.
You might not have a Trojan.
You
only
know,
have-
if I fire this, I can put a Trojan guaranteed, but it's on top of my deck.
Yeah. I'm gonna fire Bob.
Okay, you're firing Bob.
Firing Bob.
Okay, I will now exhaust the Codemancer
Okay.
to play a Trojan for 0.
Mm-hmm.
I will play a Trojan for 0.
Okay.
Firestarter will ping Bob.
Okay.
Bob dies before Bob dies. You did pay 2 for Bob though, so you do pay the cost first.
Yeah.
Kind of sick. The stack is more like Yu-Gi-Oh chains rather than MTG. Honestly, Hobjob, I don't know. I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh since I was a kid, and I don't think I appreciated the stack back then. They're just the starter decks. They aren't doing constructed. Yeah, looking forward to the day. You get a Nova Rabbit promo if you play into the event. Right now, you can sign up and get into the waitlist. I've gotten into the last 2 events from the waitlist date. Single limit worth a visit. Oh, pretty cool. Are people good? Like, if I've only played a couple of games, am I going to get absolutely trounced? What's the community like? The hella turned off by them trying to sell exclusiveness on the Kickstarter super hard with serialized cards and having to deal with the grading company. The Neuroscape was, Axu? Hold on. Is this game cringe or based? I've been enjoying it so far. I want to be very clear. I'm not like a big TCG enjoyer. That will largely keep me out of this game. I'm more looking to play this like a dual decks game, which has like the gameplay has been good. So if you can get over the TCG thing, which that's up to you.
Yeah. All right, I passed the turn.
Oh my God, cards in hand?
2.
Dude, that was close.
1 ram.
I'm going to have to deep diver here to move the program to the top of my deck just to keep a fatal error as a threat. I only have 3 ram though. So I'm going to ready.
So you're using her at the end of my turn, right?
Yes. Yeah, fast, exactly. Deep diver. Oh, hold on. I'm typing in the wrong window. So deep diver, put that. I'm going to draw that card. I think that's fine. So it's nice because I have hex for that. So I will, how much? You're at 8. So I can do 3, 4. If I play it, it's 5. Do I force quit someone? If I force quit, I think I can win. So I can draw first, right? Oh, you got rid of this thing. That doesn't change anything. Sorry, I need to get into the tank. You can add abilities to the stack while it's resolving. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't. Excuse me. Like, I think we know of Sovereign Fall of Wormwood. I think there are a lot of people really pushing it a little while ago.
Oh yeah. That I haven't heard from that for a while.
Yeah, you know, I'm still kind of curious. I can't remember if they did their Kickstarter or not.
I feel like they did.
I don't think I. Anyway, like, well, when it comes out, I think I might try it out, but not just right now.
Hey TG, welcome to stream. Summon MPG, but it looks like the abilities stop resolving when the underlining cards. That's my understanding. I might be doing it wrong. Following your tier list for Elevation Corp cards, do you plan to do something similar to Runner cards? Yeah, Primordium. We recorded it last weekend with Jeff on a Friday before the big event. Jeff is editing it, so hopefully it's up this week. But it's in Jeff's court. Not that I want to throw Jeff under the bus. Jeff is great. I was waiting to find a gritty cyberpunk TCG. I followed their project for a while and it's solid. Hey, Gilded. Yeah, it's been cool so far. I think I have a chance here. Okay, so I just want to be clear what I'm planning. I have Deja Vu, which I can just barely play. So I need to be able to do 8 damage. This is a program, but it's not a hacker program, so I don't do 1 damage to you. This means I can do 4 damage and then 4 damage.
Yeah.
The problem is I can't afford this unless I force quit the deep diver.
Which means you can't win.
Unless I top deck.
Unless you top deck something, but you have another whole other turn to draw cards that will just do
I think I'd try it.
Instant ping damage.
So I'm going to draw the known card.
Yep.
No, but if I draw the known card, I won't have enough because this will put me at 5. I have to do ram. I'm going to try it because it's flashy. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, start a turn, ram. I'll force quit the deep diver, so these come in ready. And then I'm going to start my turn by just playing Deja Vu. As additional cost, I take 3 kinds of damage, so I'm at 1 damage. You're not tapped out. Do you want to cancel this?
No.
Okay, good.
I mean, I do want to cancel
My affinity goes down 1, actually. That's going to cost me. And so I take 2 turns in a row. My first turn will just be attack for 3. Okay. You're on 5. Okay, now I have to go for my second turn. So second turn in a row, I have to do draw. Did she have an ability I can find? No, draw. Don't think I have it.
Yeah, because you still have to get up to affinity.
Yeah, I forgot about that part.
And then do damage.
That part caught me.
Which like feels like it should be doable, but you know.
I didn't draw any burst damage. Okay.
Hey, not Yeti.
No, I have it.
We had a good conversation yesterday.
I think this is it. So I will spend 2. What's this? Oh, that's good. To put this here. I'll go to... How does this work? I don't know what this card does. Okay, so check this out. This is this card. It's Binary Blast. It's a program. It's not fast, so I have to do it during my turn.
Fresh target character. If this character is a hacker, they get +1/+1.
So I'm assuming that if I use that, I can't do that during the combat phase because it's a program. Okay, so I have to restructure this turn. So what I should do... Oh wait, this has text too. I'm still in the tank. So... yeah, I think I have a shot. Okay, maths are hard. I'm gonna spend 3 for a system error. I'll just put that there. So this is a program that I install in your mainframe.
Oh, gross.
And it just says during every net check you take 2 damage.
That sucks.
I know. Yeah, that's bad. Then I'm gonna tap the Codemancer to play a Trojan for 0. So I'll put it here. That pings you for 1 damage because of the fire starter. I will then binary blast for 1.
Okay.
This wakes up my guy, giving him +1/+1 until the end of the turn.
So you don't actually need to wait until net check to kill me.
No. And then I'll spend 2 to fishing, does 1 damage.
Did the binary blast do 1 damage?
No, it's not a pro. How is a drug a program?
I got the same thing with Megaroids.
Yeah, it does 1 damage too. Yeah, you're right. It's a program. So I get a look at your hand.
Okay.
And I'll discard the Megaroids.
That's what I was going to give to Bob. But I was 1
Oh, you
ram
can't because
short.
it's not fast. You had to do it earlier.
Right, but I would have done it earlier if I'd known what was happening on the board.
Yes. And then I'll attack for 4.
Okay, good game.
Oh my god, these games are close. They're close games. I'm glad that Deja Vu did something cool.
Yeah. You know what? I can see the ways I could have played that better. Like, I can see how I mean, like, actually, wait. On my last turn, I went from being so confident to being so lost.
Yes.
So much that it actually caused me a kind of you know, what do we call it? It starts with a G. Grief. That's what I felt. I felt like a profound loss of something. Like I had witnessed a death. And that felt really, really, really bad. But otherwise, I do think like there are ways in which I can play better, play a bit more carefully.
You have a lot of agency with the timing. Because you had such a cool line with the Bob Fork. But I exactly needed the Trojan in my hand, and luckily I did have an ass Trojan in my hand.
Yeah.
Like this Trojan's actually kind of scary eventually. It's the one that just blasts you if you tap out your mana, but you didn't tap out all your RAM.
The other thing is, I feel like your deck...
Binary Blast is what I experienced talking to non-queer people.
Your deck feels like, and I'm not saying this to be salty, but your deck feels like the very high skill ceiling deck.
This deck is the one I enjoy.
And I feel like I've basically touched the ceiling of mine, and I don't have as many tricks. Like I have very few.
Your tricks are in your dual cards. So you need to force me into weird situations where you duel me down.
Right, but those characters are also vulnerable to so many of the things that you can do instantly.
I agree.
And so like your high skill ceiling stuff trumps my high ceiling skill stuff. That's the way I feel.
I agree. I have only played a bit of this. I think Maddie doesn't like so I played mostly against my partner, and like she doesn't like this sort of instant speed stuff. I get that, but I do. This sort of stuff is like more straightforward, I reckon. I do think you're right. The floor on this is higher though.
Sure, because I just have big dudes.
Yes, and big dudes can just win the game. Psychosis or not.
Yeah, true.
But I do agree, if someone gave me this deck and said this is what Neuroscape is, I would be like, I'm good. But when someone gives me this deck, I'm like, wait, I'm cooking. Like my programs fly.
Yeah, like it would be interesting to play this deck against this deck.
I agree.
That might be a very interesting thing to do.
Yeah.
And maybe if the Neuroscape people are listening, send us another one of these. We'll figure that out.
Do you want to swap sides? I don't know how you're doing on time and energy and all that sort of stuff.
I'm not sure if I have the energy for one more game of this.
Okay.
I think maybe I need to chuck a binary blast or a Megaroids Kiwi Rush.
I don't understand why you got 2 health bars. It's pronounced Quiva, by the way. Oh, the name. Thank you.
Oh, it's Kiwi Blast. It's Kiwi Blast.
So how the game works is that you have 2 health bars.
Yours.
One of them is your mainframe, which is your like kind of net damage, your electronic representation of you, your rig, stuff like that. And the other is your bioframe. So in Netrunner, it's like meat damage and net damage. This game, each character only does a certain amount of damage. Certain cards only do a certain amount of damage. It seems like certain factions are kind of keyed up to do only one kind of damage over the other. But if either of those hit 0. So it gives you a lot of flexibility. I think I said this earlier, like I don't know in constructed play if you're actually going out of the way to build a deck that can fork both or whether you just focus on one. I'd be surprised if you fork both.
You did bring up something interesting with Psychosis. Depending on the deck I'm facing, I might not care about your physical damage. Which means I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll take damage half the time that I attack with my guy, but I still have a super powerful guy.
Yes,
you know,
and it's still fine.
But if I were facing someone who could do physical damage, I'd be like, never, absolutely never, and I would just throw those cards out. I would try them on the table.
So like this is the thing is, so what is the name of one of the cards? But like maybe I would want to play 1 or 2 dual cards.
Buzzsaw, drive saw arm.
But even your characters, right? Like maybe, and I don't know the deck building restrictions, but there's a chance that I would maybe play Freya in this deck if I could, on the basis that maybe I want a bit of control on the table because she controls characters really well, and that might be a reason that I put a card in my deck that does bioframe damage, even though my deck is a mainframe damage focused deck. I don't know. Imagine editing. Exactly like MTG, but when your character uses an ability and dies, and responsibility will not resolve. Yeah. Yo, Team Kev, how's it going? I enjoyed your video, the recap from the weekend. I was surprised that ended up being a tournament that you entered kind of on a whim, and it did the thing that it did. Pat, thanks so much for hanging out.
I had a good time.
Yeah.
I think I've come to appreciate this game much more than the first time we played.
Oh yeah, for sure. Game's neat. And again,
Yep.
all the caveats, it's a TCG. It's on Kickstarter for 4 more days. You know if that's for you or if it's not for you. I think these demo decks are something that Maddie and I will be pulling out, not super consistently, but enough to be like, that's a cool game to keep on
And
the
I'd be
shelf.
curious to see what the other factions do,
Yeah,
and
I
I'd be
wanna
curious to
see
see like
more of this.
a mirror match. I don't know if it, like, I can tell it's not going to be one of my games that I'm going to champion, but I appreciate it. And you know what? There's a lot of games when someone tells me they play them, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to gatekeep this. I'm going to be an absolute bully. I'm going to be the worst person in the world. But this one, I'm going to say, no, we're fine. Neuroscape.
This is cool.
We're gonna be cool, Neuroscape.
The TCG part still said, yeah. I do think, again, they have the demo decks, not the demo decks, the dual decks they're called. I'm assuming they're balanced and focused. So if you want to grab those, you can. And
yeah,
that is,
and it looks like they've got 3 different dual deck products. I think they have 6 total different decks. So like, it sounds like they have a bit of a tabletop environment kind of thing.
I'm assuming they also might be interesting matchups where it's like, you know, Order and Chaos or Honor and Profit, where it's like, here's Criminal and Criminal Tricks versus Expose and Traps and stuff like that, if you look at old Neverwinter.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's mostly it. Again, thanks so much for hanging out. It's a Saturday stream. This is, again, Neuroscape TCG, not sponsored. Just want to show you what it is because I was having a good time playing it. If you find that repulsive, let me know kindly in the comments. And otherwise, we'll be back on Tuesday with a regular stream, and maybe you'll drop by on a Thursday at some point.
Who knows?
Who knows?
All right.
Thanks so much for hanging out. Enjoy yourselves, and we'll be back in just a couple days.
Bye, everybody.
Cheers.